What is up? Welcome back to the hotline. It's your boy 112K here. I'm with the wonderful Aussie Antics. How you feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, man. We got a lot to talk about, dude. We've got like EU invading NA, and now we've got unregion lock. We kind of Epic had to save it. Unfortunately, EU content got so bad. They're like, yo, we got to do something, man. This is horrific. We got to do something. So I'm happy, man. It's gonna be good.
It looks like it's working though so far. It looks like it's working.
It is working. It is working.
For the people who don't know what this is Hotline FN. This is the call-in show for your unpopular opinions, hot takes, bold predictions. This is not a Q&A show. This is the show where you guys come in and give a strong opinion that you have about competitive Fortnite or Fortnite as a whole, and we discuss it along with our guest. And speaking of our guest, we got an absolute legend with us here today, the one and only VENO FN. Welcome, man. Welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you feeling good? You feeling alive after playing EU duo catch up on 100 ping?
Oh.
Play EU again. It's too early. It's too early to wake up. I'm so tired. My fingers were hurting so bad. I was thinking I can't wake up this early again.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm just ready to hear some hot takes.
Okay, I think we got a problem. I'm seeing everyone in chat right now saying we got an echo. So
they're freaking out.
So try not to speak, Benno. This is the difficulty of doing live shows. You get technical difficulties here and there. It's fine. It's fine. We'll sort it out.
So what we've got Levin's mic going into Venos. Is that what we're dealing with?
I don't know what's happening. It's fine. Okay, while we get Venos sorted out, I do want to talk to you guys, our wonderful live audience. I love you guys. I promise you I love you guys. So please don't take this to offense. The takes ain't been banging recently. I feel like the takes just they ain't been quite where we, you know what I mean? And I'm calling you out of love here, guys. I'm calling you out of love. I want to see some, you know, stronger opinions, some more interesting takes. And I actually have some examples for you guys. Because
example time. Okay.
On the other podcast I do, shameless plug, we asked people for unpopular opinions that we were gonna react to. And we got some decent ones. I'll show you some examples, guys, of the kind of thing we're sort of looking for, just to inspire you yourself. One of them, somebody said, unpopular opinion, Chapter 3 was one of, if not the best chapters for competitive Fortnite. It might not have had the best viewership, but in terms of some of the metas, they were the most balanced and interesting for comp. That was one example. Again, whether you agree or not, right now, that's not the point. I'm just showing you what people are doing, right?
That's steaming hot.
That's a hot take, right? We had one person who came in and said, Booga isn't even close to being in the top 3 of all time. All of his FNCS wins, he was definitely not the best player on the team. Mero was the best player on the team, and therefore, those FNCS wins shouldn't be used as valuably in his GOAT debate.
All right. I mean, I got to defend the viewers here a little bit. We're just asking people to just be like on crack here. Like, you're just asking for fucking crackheads to jump on this and just start spewing shit. Like, what? Like, I'm all good for some hot takes, but like, we're just delusional now. What's happening?
No. Hey, Aussie. This is the point. This is why we discuss these things, because some of these takes, they might be very hot takes, they might be unpopular opinions, but sometimes they got a point. They might have
submitted via text, though.
Yes, they were submitted via text.
Get on and put their voice and name to these takes. See, that's the difference. You're asking people anonymously. Now, like, they're going to get on here and put their face to it.
It is always harder, definitely, to have the balls to come on and give your take, you know, on voice. But, you know, I would expect nothing less from you guys. Another person came in and said, my hot take or my unpopular opinion is that drop spots don't matter anywhere near as much as we make it out to be. I think a top team could win FNCS from Rebels Roost if they actually practice spot all season long. Another person had a take about Mero. They said the only reason Mero's not unanimously considered a GOAT is because he's a controller player and people have a bias to controller players. If any mouse and keyboard player had his achievements, we'd be calling them the GOAT for days. Somebody else had one about Mongo where they basically just said Mongo's overhyped. But, you know.
Okay, well, that's a good one. Okay,
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, these are the type of things we're looking for. I don't want people coming in going, Nitro's bad. Like, one, that's not a hot take. 2, you know, we've heard it a million times. You know, like, give us some juice here today, guys, is what I'm asking for.
Okay, fair. I like it. Yeah, I think also as well, chat, not Q&A, but again, like you can turn a question into a spicy take. I was saying this earlier. We got VENO on. You want to know who VENO's best, like who he thinks his best teammate is of all time? come in with your chest, be like, yo, I think Clicks is shit. I think he's not up to your standard. And then that will facilitate a conversation that you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what we're looking for. It makes it more fun. It's a lot more exciting when we come in, you know what I mean? Something to talk about rather than just Q&A.
Yeah, and try it as best as you can to also just like have some reason. Because if you come in with a take, there's a good chance one of me and Ozzy is going to be like, okay, but why do you think that? Yeah. So don't just be like, because I see some people write stuff where I'm like, what's the reasoning behind why you think that? You know, it's like, oh, I don't think VENO is gonna make it out of round 1 of FNCS this week. Okay, but why? Like what? Like, you give us a bit more to work with.
But why?
But yeah,
VENO in the chat is already like ready to jump on some takes. My man is already jumping on takes. He's jumping on people talking about the crazy takes you just gave. Okay. And he's ready to go. Have we sorted VENO's? Have we got the echo going? Or are we good?
We're good.
We are good. He's back.
Hey!
Hello. Hey, we're back.
Nice
all right. I mean, VENO,
back.
You can just straight to the cam call people out now, bro. You got full reign to just go crazy here. Talk some smack. This is good. No, you can't. No, go crazy. No, you can do whatever you want. No, now we can't hear VENO. Okay, now we can't hear VENO. What have we done? I can hear VENO.
I can hear him.
This would be. I think it's Quartz. Hello.
Yeah.
Test. I think this was to try to fix the issue before chat. One sec. Okay. Basically, VENO has just said that if you think that Epic Well and Mero are the same. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
all right, we're good.
They can hear him. Can you hear him now, chat?
Oh, yes, we can.
Okay.
We can.
Good.
Yes.
Brilliant. Repeat what you were saying because they couldn't hear you.
I pretty much just said it's fucking crazy to say Mero has the same achievements as Epic Well. It's actually crazy. To say NA West is even the same as NA East, NA Central, plus a LAN achievement. Blasphemy. What is that?
Before we get our first call on this topic, because I want to follow this one a little bit. VENO, how much do you rate the land that Mero and Cooper won compared to the other lands, though? Because... Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's a tough one. Like, I don't want to take away the achievement from other people, but yeah, 6 games and so laggy.
Its thing is, right, it's not even that, like, they definitely pre-pick the zones, because I've never seen more pre-picking in my life towards Cammy and Say. I just have to say that now.
Damn. Okay. All right. Cool.
And, like, if we're bringing up World Cup in chat of Epic Well, I just have to say now, don't bring up that, please. It's 3 years ago. Not even. 5 years ago.
5 years ago now.
Yeah.
5 years.
We're 5 to 6 years ago.
Let's not say that. Okay, so on that topic, what we were just saying, it's just like 6 games, right? Like, you can't have a LAN be 6 games. There's too much RNG. There's way too much. Yeah. Like thing is, right, the comebacks people do on the second day, that brings storyline as well. So like, you after the first day, like, you can't go back and replays. There was no replay section, so I can't watch back the games after I die.
Yeah,
because that's how the client's up. You just get pulled into the game. They close you when they load you in. Your game is closed, and then you straight just load into the game. Can't watch replays, nothing. So you can't actually learn about anything that's going on. All that you see is in game is what you see.
I think the one thing, if I was to like critique their like globals in a couple ways, obviously again the one way everyone says will be the 6 games, right? So I won't harp on that. I think one of the things for me that was a bit, I wouldn't say disappointed about, because it's still an incredible achievement to win a LAN. I think in terms of the actual level of play that we saw from them, it wasn't like, a legendary performance in itself, right? It's like, when we think of like the best performances, you often want like a good mixture of a team that was like strategically and tactically clear of everyone, and also were just crazy and just like unkillable, right?
It's like they played. Yeah. It's like you want to see. Okay, well, we thought this team had a potential chance to win, and they played perfect. But the thing is, they did bad in upper bracket. Cooper was crying after upper bracket. I gave a pep talk, of course, and then like they quoted in lower bracket. They quoted in lower bracket, and the thing is, like, they weren't predicted to win. And it's very, very rare, especially when you're playing like a world championship type of LAN. It shouldn't be that the team that isn't expected to wins.
Well, it's like even like when you look like, and again, I don't think they deny this, like a lot of the times they were like just white lining most zones. They'd be in a really scuff spot and they would just boss somebody out.
In.
Yeah, they just jump in.
Like, it was just a lag. They just
the fact that they're able to do that like as consistently as they did was good. Like, that is crazy.
I think there's more consistency. It's like this, right? When the lag's bad, controller players do better. In seasons where lag is a lot worse, controller players have a much better chance because people can't hit AR tags. I was just playing EU, and like Reet was on the same points as me with Frantic, and the obvious thing is that he's on controller, and we're on 100 plus, we're on 120 ping, and it's the fact of controller does a lot better in laggy seasons, and that season wasn't laggy. It's just the servers they had was screwed up. I actually had a talk with I used to go out for my smoke breaks between games. And between the games, they said to me, our servers, like they had servers behind us, they weren't working. They were just using random servers. Servers behind us weren't working. And they actually, this was during upper bracket or lower bracket. I think it was upper bracket because I wasn't there during lower bracket. They said it'll be fixed by finals. It definitely wasn't. And also with Rocket Ram, it just added so much. Like if you were on high, it was so hard to play high because you couldn't. Rocket Ram's one thing, right? But Rocket Ram on lag, I can't even see the person that's hitting me off.
Yeah, it's tough. Mobility like that is always so tough when it's laggy.
That was before they fixed observers too. Like this LAN, I'm so excited. It's 12 games across 2 days, and they finally fixed observers. So like every single just grand finals or anything Fortnite watches isn't just terrible. Like it's gonna be so much better. I wish there was still qualifiers. I'm so sad. Like I don't understand why we run a whole season, get 50 teams out there. I know it's expensive, but just sending an extra 25 and then having qualifiers would just make this LAN perfect. But I'm way more excited for it.
No, 100%. Well, look, guys, I won't tickle your balls any longer. Let's get the first caller in. We got the first caller ready. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, hello.
Hello.
I'm from India, and my hot take is that I think we need more mythic drop spots like we had in Chapter 2 with vaults and keycards. I think medallions are just working out, and next season being a Marvel season, I think you can expect that.
Interesting.
Okay. So are you saying like mythic specifically, or you just mean you think there needs to be more PYs that are just like super strong? Do you think like the current like medallions just aren't as good as the mythics, or you just want more of those?
I just want like more old school mythic POIs, like around 4 to 5 with vaults in it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, I love that season. That season was mad fun. I'd be totally fine with that. But do you think it'd be more competitive, or do you think it'd be more fun? Like more enjoyable?
I think it would be more fun, but it can be more competitive. It's almost a double-edged sword.
Okay. All right. Levin, what's your take? I love vaults. Like I think they're amazing. It's one of my favorite times of Fortnite competitive for sure. So I'm down for more vaults. Do I think they'll be more competitive? No, but are they more fun? Yes.
So my thing is like when we had like caches in the game, for example, and when you have like vaults and stuff like that, like when you have a lot of things that make it easy for a team or easier for a team to like get a loadout or get back into the game or get stacked during the game, like it almost like takes away a skill gap, if you know what I'm saying. It's like if anybody can just get stacked, then it's like, it's almost less impressive. Or it's like it does even things out.
It adds a lot of bullshit. Yeah,
it does a lot of bullshit. And that's part of why actually what Ozzy's saying in terms of it can make it more entertaining is correct, right? Because from a viewer's perspective, the more people that are stacked, the more people in good position to be able to actually go at it, blah, 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 blah. Like it can be good.
Yeah.
From a player's perspective and from a competitiveness, I think there's a skill gap to being able to consistently be stacked going into every end game, which like more loot on the map or more like mid-game objectives that can give you so much loot or vaults or whatever it is that you add, or like too many, like not the right amount of them, makes it so that too many people can get stacked, which in turn I think makes the game a bit less competitive and less skillful. So I don't mind them. It's like, I think you just have to find the right balance of it. But I don't think right now we need more of that. If you were to look at like this season in particular, I'm not sure if I'd say we need more of that.
Creates more drama. I like the drama of it.
I think it is the thing of like the game thing is right. The way we're talking, right, is if you were to say this in other games like CS, Valorant, right, you'd be laughed at.
Yeah, you would be.
The game should be balanced, and we should be outraged that like it's not like other esports.
I don't know though. Should we though? Like again, this is so hard because for you, you're the pro player, and for me, it's like dance for me. I want to watch it because it's funny. Like I get that, but like I think if they made this game truly competitive, we talked about this recently with Levin. Like if it's just like just basic guns, no crazes, I think this game's dead by now. I don't think we're 6 years in the comp. I think it'd be so boring.
I do agree somewhat. You can't make it like those games, right? But I have to say the thing that you just can't have two. okay, you can't. These are the things, right? Okay, so now we have 3 mythic POIs. 1 is no longer good anymore, so it's just you have 2 mythic POIs, right?
Yeah, 2.
And I think there should never be a season, right, where 1 or 2 POIs are miles better than the rest. Like, if I wanted to try and win Grands, right, I would have to play perfect. You can't make a mistake. I can't have a death. Whereas they can have a death.
So you think that this season, though? Do you think that right now, for you to win this FNCS, you're going to have to play literally perfectly? I
said it when I came into it. I said I'm not going to lie. Okay. Spots will be able to claim. I'm going to pick a good one. But to be honest, we're playing for top 3. 3rd, 4th.
Okay. And okay. Interesting.
He thinks he can win. I know I can win, but it does require perfect.
So to play devil's advocate to that, Reese Hub made me aware of this point recently. When you, outside of this chapter is actually the exception to the rule, what I'm about to say, but for the most part, when you actually look at FNCS winners across history, the winner doesn't correlate to what was considered the best POI that season in most seasons.
Thing is, right? Okay, when people say best POI, right? A lot of the time, the people who are saying the best POI doesn't actually know what the best POI.
Yeah, that's true. I know what you're gonna get. That's true. I'm just talking about what the consensus is of the best POI.
It's like when we say invitational, right? Like I had the best spot, but I didn't have the best strats for my spot. Whereas Kami said he had a very good spot, but he had the best strat.
Yeah.
But who uses their spot to the best? So it does kind of come in with what you're saying.
Yeah. I think another thing we have to add on to this whole mythic thing, this whole idea now of with having land spots where you get to an FNCS like now, where this is the last chance to qualify, and we're getting basically double. NA is getting more than double the people going to land from this one FNCS as the last 2. But you've now got people who just lock down a spot, like, again, Reed and stuff. They pick a spot and like, yo, drop on me and I'll grief you. Like, if you haven't already called land, you can't drop on me. So it's like the drama and the excitement I like from crazy POIs where it makes a lot of people fight and you know, it makes it more exciting. That's kind of gone too, because no one wants to land on Acorn. No one wants to land on, you know, Peterbot, because they have everything to lose and nothing to gain. So I do think that if we bring back more of those mythic POIs with this whole land situation, it makes it even worse, in my opinion. It makes the bad parts even worse and kind of reduces the better parts of it. Because the only teams that are going to land on Acorn now are going to be like, what, like maybe someone in the bottom 5 is just struggling and just kind of wants to throw something out there and give it a try. It's not going to be like another big exciting name that creates a cool storyline, is how I'm seeing it going to go.
It's interesting because I feel like we rarely get that anyway, you know? I feel like in general, like the top players typically just know to respect, because even if it's like, unless a POI, I think the last time we really saw that where like top players were really committing consistently to competing against or to contesting top teams was like Command Cavern, like that, or Rave Cave, whatever that was. Like, but that's just because it was like that area was so big and so much loot that like you could somewhat split it in different ways, and it's like, you know, so it's like it's hard to, man. I feel like it's hard for you to do that at a spot, or at least if you're top player, it's hard to rationalize even trying to compete against another top team at a spot.
Look at last season, Grim, one of the best drops of all time. Peterbot Pollo got uncon, Malibuca Mustache con, but it wasn't by like, you know, another top 3 team that made it super spicy. Like, I'm trying to think, when's the last time we saw like 2 tier 1 teams go at it that wasn't an international event? I really want to say Pink and Malibuca.
Thing is, right, I think a big reason for it, right, that doesn't happen as much anymore, is because of the lands. And the reasoning is, right, is that obviously, okay, so this is when we go back to invitational time. Invitational time, right? I had qualified for invitational and I didn't know I'd qualified. It's actually the same thing with All Stars. They didn't announce All Stars like qualification spots. So people kept trying. People kept trying. For example, like this season, right? Okay, we can say Peterbot's not going to try as much, or like, you know, people don't care as much. So the level of competitive goes down. They don't care as much, stuff like that. You know, no one can contest them. The same team's going to keep doing good and also like keep doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that's where it ties in the thing of tier 1s versus tier 1s, because okay, so Ronaldo's qualified, I can't contest him.
Yeah.
And even
what helped that problem even last year was even having like last chance major. Obviously, it didn't really affect the top teams, but it's like you still had good teams because they had last chance major. They would like try land at these different spots, and then obviously the fact that at land you still had to qualify to make it to the final stage as well. So, like, I feel like there's ways to mitigate this problem without having to mess with the actual POIs itself. It's like we can give more people more incentive to want to try, or give more people incentive to want to like commit to some of these spots. But yeah, no,
I think we need better mid-game objectives too.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking on how we can fix this, I just think, man, bunkers are just terrible. Bunkers are so bad. And I feel like when you had caches and the island was really good, like you had teams like Bucky and Ocus when they were just full out for the island every game during the Mammoth pistol season. I forget which one that is, because their job wasn't that great, but it gave them priority on the island, which then gave them like loot as good as a mythic POI. We just need better mid-game objectives as well. So going a worse POI, but then having priority on a mid-game objective could equal out just getting the god tier POI.
Chapter 4, Season 1 last year, Malibu and Thomas were getting predicted to win purely because they went for island every game and had the pulse rifles. It's like
it was like that's a storyline you can add. Where now bunkers are just so bad. I don't know. Like I when I first saw them, I was like, maybe this could work, but I hate them. VENO, from a player perspective, how do you feel about mid game objectives?
I mean, yeah, there's not too much point anymore to go for island. The loot it gives is kind of inconsistent. Like you can get a gatekeeper, like purple gatekeeper, sometimes purple pump, but it's just too inconsistent. Yeah. And based on the bunkers, like bunkers actually inconsistent as well. The only things actually worth in a bunker is upgrade.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, because it's so hit or miss. I went for a bunker today. I came out with 3 minis and a big. How should that be happening? 3 god chests. And like, it's just very inconsistent. And it's not actually, when you go into, a final format, it's not actually worth like staying on that bunker, and especially if it goes into zone, the amount of surge you're missing, zone you're taking, and stuff you're missing out on positions is by like detrimental to the game.
No, that's true. That's true. Thank you though for the take, Dexter. Appreciate that take.
Thank you, Dexter.
Thank you very much.
Homie.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
It's interesting. I feel like we will get to a point where, we will see more like conversation around like the map and like that sort of impact that it has as we go towards like globals, just because like these things start to become, the dynamics of them just become more interesting when you have like top teams from all over the world, right, having to go at it.
It's gonna be interesting. Like the whole dynamic around like kind of claiming land drops is so interesting to me, and it's just so messy because then like the respect doesn't go out the window, but you've got like teams that are used to being like the big team on their region, then they come over to like Brazil, and then like what happens with King quite often. King's used to just bullying his region, and then it goes to international level, and it's just like no one cares. Like they're just going to contest him, like they just don't respect it at all. Like it's just you could literally win. I think you could win every grand final on your region for a whole chapter coming into the LAN, like Peterbot Pollo performances, and an EU or NA team will still happily drop on them over and dropping on another good EU or NA team. Like it's
the thing is, right? It's not even a tier 1 team. It's not even a tier 1 team.
For real.
Yeah.
Honestly, before we get the next caller in, I always have thought about this, and like sometimes I think if I was one of those players on like a smaller region, I would put more effort into like playing the politics with like top EU players, because I feel like the best way to mitigate that situation is if you can get the top players from the big regions hyping you up and bigging you up. Like, so if I was like a Middle East player, I'd start like trying to get into circles with guys like a Queasy, because Queasy, Queasy will start talking. If Queasy rates you, then Queasy starts telling everyone, nah, don't mess with Levin on Middle East, bro. Like, he's actually crazy. Like, trust me, like he knows his stuff, right?
The big thing to show off, right? The big thing to show off is like when you go to those dream hacks. You literally, when you go to those dream hacks, like when you go to Copenhagen, it's the same thing. You have to be running those 2v2s. A lot of the time they stay in their own circle. You have to, like, you remember I was playing 2v2s with King, stuff like that, and like he could show himself off a bit more. And that's what they have to do. Otherwise, they're not going to get any respect.
100%.
I forget who it was. There was a Middle East guy. I've forgotten. Someone in chat told me there was a Middle East dude who was just actually running so many of those 1s and 2s and was disgustingly good. And I feel like that, at least in the community, it started to get their attention. But I think the pro players, no, it wasn't Kindex or someone else, I think. Maybe it was Kindex. No, Mhari. I don't know how to pronounce the name properly. But he was nuts. And everyone was gassing him up. But I think it takes too long to get to the pros by that point. I feel like it's got to be before you get there. Yeah. It's too late at that point. But how crazy is how much politics there is in that? We're talking about like weaseling your way into a friend group so you can like, it's like some Game of Thrones shit.
I don't even mind that.
Like, I don't mind it, but like, oh man, it's crazy.
It's generally the way Fortnite is now.
Oh,
like,
Cal, Cal Gamer, sorry. It was Cal Gamer, sorry, keep going.
4 years ago, like I'm exactly the same I'll say mental I was 4 years ago, where I'm like, okay, it's business over friendships, right? But 4 or 5 years ago, they actually rated friendships over business, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now, right, you throw your best friend under the bus right now in terms of Fortnite.
Jeez.
Right? Yeah. If you're okay, like for example, okay, if I'm knocking pink, I'm camping his cards. Whereas 4 years ago, 5 years
there's
ago,
a bit
they're
of respect.
running.
Yeah, like there's like.
I like that though. I like that though.
Everyone's gonna play to like everyone's gonna play to absolutely win now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I like that style though. It makes it a bit more fair, honestly. I mean, we did just have Malibuca and Swizzy contesting each other, and you guys interviewed them on the broadcast level, and the same thing. It was like we just don't talk during the tournament or around the tournament. Outside of the tournament, we're friends. We play squads together, but during the tournament, I'm contesting them. They're my enemy. Like I want to beat them. They've now left, but like. Yeah, they were like two good friends, the two back-to-back FNCS winners just contesting each other. But
I was trying to start some shit, bro. I wanted him to start talking mad crazy, bro. But
you were pushing. You kept pushing. Malibuca's too nice, though. He was just, he was way too nice.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll get him.
Oh, I will say this. Sorry, on the last contesting thing, it's funny you talk about 5 years ago. I remember what the rule was. You ask any pro who was around 5 years ago, they all tell the same thing. Never contest someone richer than you. That was literally the rule, and they actually live by that. It was like you need it more than them. They have more money. Don't contest them. Chap was always the one who pushed this. He's like, why did people who make less than me start contesting me? When did this happen? Like, it was like a thing for him. Because like he was like, bro, that's why I never landed on Tfue. Tfue was richer than me. I'm not going to throw my grand finals. I need it more than he does. But like, they actually lived by that rule in the high level, like Fortnite friend groups back in like skirmish days. It was crazy, but kind of makes sense in a weird way. But that's also when there was like millions on the line for prize pool.
The problem is that lived for so long that the people who were richer got too complacent. So then it almost flips where like now the person who's not rich is like, well, I'm just hungrier than you, so I want it better.
Yeah,
like,
I need it. I
need this. Like, you don't need this, bro. I need fencing fields, bro. Give me that shit.
True.
Next caller. Next caller. Let's get the next caller in.
Yeah.
We have it. Cool. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name's Arav and I'm from India.
Hey, welcome.
Back to back.
We've had our two first Indian callers. Welcome. What is your take?
I hope VENO doesn't start laughing again.
Is VENO laughing before?
He was. And then Chad was egging him on, and it was like, you know, like when you're in class and like your friend's laughing and you know you're going to get in trouble, so you can't laugh because they're laughing. I could just see it building. And then I looked over and I was like, VENO, like, oh my God. It's fine. So what's your take, homie?
My take is that many big teams in NA are going to miss grand finals if Fist return. Because all the teams who are in wars are going to like, because of how RNG the Fists are, they're going to lose out on calling. Like Peterbot and Pollo, maybe. Who knows?
I mean, so I've been looking at VENO for that one. I've been saying the moment. I'm not saying Miss Grands. Miss Grands is crazy. I like that we're getting a bold take here. But for me, I've been saying that. People keep asking me, what's my top 3 for NA Grands this season? I keep telling people Nitro only. Clicks and VENO look disgusting. If the Fists come back, though, I have no idea. Because the way you guys just played height and all of like the greatness I just saw kind of goes out the window. I could be wrong.
I don't think they're coming back because, you know, as soon as like when they tweeted out like, oh, there's a bug with them, right? Like within the next update, they were back in arena. So I don't understand why are they in arena and they're perfectly fine, and then they're not in comp. I don't really understand.
It is strange. Because normally when there's a bug that you can do to get invincibility and win every game, which if you guys watching don't know, that's why the gloves were vaulted. Normally people would abuse that in ranked and stuff. Like every time there's like an invincibility bug, we see it. But I haven't seen it in ranked. So that's a good point. How bad is this bug? We don't know.
I think by the next up, they tweeted out like, okay, there's a problem with it. We're taking out. They took out everything. It wasn't anything, right? Then in a couple of days later, it was back in arena. And I think it's the thing of like, I don't know if they're going to bring it back because... FNCS is going on. You can't do this stuff. They know better than to do that.
Is there a chance?
There is a chance. Change the meta. It's Epic Games. Epic Games.
What I was going to say is that is there a chance that maybe, and again, I know people are going to be like, oh, Levin works for Fortnite, so he must know. I know nothing. I'm just like speculating like everyone else. But is there a chance that maybe like they have more planned nerfs to Fist, so they're waiting till they do those nerfs until they bring it back to comp specifically? If they fix the bug, because I don't know if they have, but if they fix the bug, maybe they like have more planned change. So they're just like, we'll just keep it out until we do the nerf that we're planning on anyway. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if they can have us.
I might be giving them too much credit, but yeah.
I don't know if they can have us play almost an entire season, almost half a season, and then it'll be more than half even, and then bring it back. And I think it's the big thing of like, because there's a 1 month break, that's the only chance they have.
So
if there was no 1 month break, I can't see him bringing them back.
It's interesting because to speak to the take that Rin had, I actually do see a world where, yeah, like Fist being added back late, like just before semis or something, does hurt people. From what I was watching at least, right? Obviously, Fists were crazy in terms of just like the amount of RNG we're seeing in games. Like it almost felt like there was no way to like consistently top 5 a lot of the time when with Fist, like it was just so much out of your control. Even with that being said, there were like teams who I'd watch where like you could see that people were starting to like get small things you needed to do, you know, like in terms of like certain timings, where to position yourselves in the end game. Like there were things people were sort of slowly doing. And I think if Fist had stayed in and things had continued, that would have evolved more. Like people would have figured out more of those things and it would have gotten a bit better. But now that that's almost gone, it's out of people's minds. If it gets added right back in, it's like there's not been that development for people to get it, which I think in turn makes things more RNG and you'll probably get more surprise results. So I can see a world where if they add it back, that does happen. Rin.
I mean, and the plan now, I mean, if the Fists are as OP as we think they're going to be back again as mobility, people are now just going to use the Nitro to get the Fist. Before, if you didn't have double Fist, you kind of just played your game out, tried to get him, it is what it is. Now people just pop the Nitro. They'll be like, those guys have Fist, Nitro, get in, try and kill them, take them for the game or not. But I will say, back to VENO's point about them, though, adding them back in the break, this break isn't actually the bye week that we normally have with Epic. It's actually just them going on break for 2 weeks. Like the whole Epic staff, almost all of them are gone. So I think there's less chance we get it in the break than more chance, because they won't want to add an item that's already, because they don't care about competitive. Let's be honest. We know they hardly care about comp, but they do care about pubs and ranks. And if they add an item back into the pool of comp that could be broken and they can't be there to fix it, that's what's going to cause more issues. And we do have cash cups right up until the break. And as soon as they get back from the break, there's only like a 12-day break in actual tournaments. I think it's just like a 3-week break in FNCS.
I think and now that you've said that, this next update is their only last chance. The next update is the only chance they can add it back. The next update's on Tuesday, so this FNCS week will be finished. So the only practice you're actually going to get with them, 2 heats, is scrims and cash ups.
Yep.
And and like, you know, we had it with the Wings last season where they got added back and no one knew. And no one knew that they had made them OP again.
Right? Like, we just didn't get the change. Like, nobody.
That's why I feel like they need, like, that's the thing where it's like, oh, like, why isn't there patch notes?
Yeah, they need the patch notes for it. Otherwise,
people would read them every time.
Yeah, we would. But then we complain about it,
of course, we hated on them, right? But it's better to give us information than give us no information.
Yeah. I know, the patch notes back there, because they dropped the patch notes and then there'd be that 3 or 4 hours of downtime and kids in my chat would be complaining about every aspect of it. But then when they actually got in and played it, they would kind of form like a logical opinion after using it. You know what I mean? So like, I think taking patch notes out because people would complain is just so crazy, because like, let's be honest, Fortnite is going to complain about everything. And there's a lot of stuff that's worth complaining about. But I don't know. We need patch notes back, because like, I love the fact that we got people in the community who jump in creative and do it all. But there's still so many questions on how things actually work. Like, we went into a Grands where everyone thought Wings were shit except for like 2 teams, and all of a sudden they were decent and everyone was using them. It was the weirdest thing ever.
I'm laughing right now because, again, for the people who don't know, Hotline FN was a show that was done by Tim McD and Bala TW years ago, like 4-5 years ago, right? And
I think we're pushing like 6.
Right, yeah, it's been a long time. And back then, I remember one of the most prominent memories back then was an episode where it was Tim, Bala, and Shayo, and they were debating about the fact that there was no patch notes. And they were like, why don't we have patch notes? And I think literally Bala or Tim said exactly what you just said, Ozzy. And it's just crazy how it's 5 years later, and it's still the same. Like, we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. You want to make it funnier? Shia was just in my Twitch chat saying they're going to put the item back in the game. And I don't know how much Shia's been playing Fortnite now, but he's probably like, bro, they haven't changed. If they want some dumb shit in the game, they're not going to care that it's the night before Grands. Like, Shia would live through the friggin' like Liquid Boys having their drop spot disappear the morning of like $1 million land. Like, oh man, it'll be interesting. But VENO, I want to go to the original point that we got from Rin though. Like, are you worried? Like, would you rather, obviously, outside of practice, do you think you'd perform better in a Nitro like this meta or a meta with the Fist in it? If practice irrelevant, like if they didn't add him the night before, you had a whole season of practice, which one are you playing better in?
I'll say Nitro, but the thing is, the only difference between them both, right? Okay, so the game becomes okay. So rotates become easier with fists, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get away with more. Also, the height takes become harder, and it's not actually the height takes that become harder. It's that it's that when you take it, that you don't get it taken back.
Yeah.
Because the way I play high ground, right? I'm gonna rinse them for everything they have.
Yeah.
So they can't actually come back up anyway. Unless they're gonna fly onto my head and 50-50 me, they're not gonna come back up.
Yeah.
It's the thing of
this is what happens.
Is there gonna be another team to come up? Because teams are gonna be more stacked with the fists. With sprint, you have to use more mats. But
true.
Like I'm gonna take height easier with sprint because they can't do as much to stop it. But I think at the moment I probably play better in this than fists. Because fists obviously more RNG. Yeah, okay, you can land in a box. There's something that's like happen. It depends how they nerf it. Also, I don't really see them bringing it back just because with the nerfing, a point I didn't add is that when they bring it back, they'll probably have to do a nerf or a boost or what do you call that? Boost, whatever. A buff, yeah. Because
I don't know.
You won't be able to put it back in, no playtesting, and think it's gonna be okay, and also no bugs on top of that. So you're gonna add it back in, then go on a 2-week break. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if they add it back in and then there's something game breaking with it, I'm sure, even though like it is their coming on, I'm sure there are like engineers on standby for if the game breaks. Like if we had something like the whole south of the map not working again, I'm sure somebody's job is to come back and like make sure that's fine. But
I mean, is it the competitive team that goes off, or is it just a?
I think it's like
everyone.
It's like an
everyone.
Epic company
it's
holiday.
Everyone.
Like all of Epic.
Yeah, they
games.
leave like a skeleton team, just enough to like keep the company literally running. But this is like their summer break where almost everyone goes on break. And I mean, okay, so fun insider thing as well. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for showing this. I mean, what more can they do to me at this point? So I made a tweet this morning saying it appears Epic did not fix the server freeze bug. If anything, it is now longer and even worse. And then I got DM from someone at Epic asking for the replay files for that bug to try to like fix it. So I just think honestly, there's that much random stuff broken right now. They're just inundated with bugs. Like again, they dropped the Metallica update and like an entire part of the map you couldn't go to. So I think their regular system of bug fixing, they have to be behind on right now because there is just so much breaking. Like we have the servers freezing for like seconds at a time every single game. So I don't know how Epic inner working works with like who fixes bugs, but I have to imagine it's a small team or a limited amount of people. And that has to be taking their priority over the fists. Like, I just know it is. Because without the fist, the game still functions. With these bugs, though, some of them are making the game literally not function.
But, and the weird thing is what we have to add to what we're saying is, like, the fists are in the game. They're just not in comp, which is the thing that we're trying to connect. Like, I don't even know why. Now I'm more confused as to, like, why are they in the game? If they fixed the bug and then they brought it back into, like, ranked and the regular game, why is it not in comp yet? Unless they have just decided we're just not having this in comp. But it would be good to know that.
Because it's just so bad. It's genuinely just so bad. Like, the nerfs would have to be... They tried to nerf it, didn't change anything. Right? Oh, we took 10 damage off.
No, it did.
It did, dude. I watched the Solid Victory Cup without the structure damage, and it was actually pretty good. Like,
okay.
I'll say that.
I'll say, okay, in the Solo Cash Cup, it's different, right? Because in the Solo Cash Cup, you can't break through... you can only break through a wood wall. If you double fist on a wall, on a brick wall, it's going to insta break.
Good point.
I remember seeing the Muz thing. It's worse in double.
I can see that one. Yeah.
No one's gonna fit. No one's gonna fist like into a box, without in a solo right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the double thing plus lag. It's like, control player's gonna do better in laggy seasons, right? Yeah, the fists are gonna do better the worse the lag is.
Yeah.
They got to reduce the hitbox. Everyone's talking about the damage. I think the damage is the problem, but the fact that you just like look in the general direction and it lunges you so far forward. Like I want once you start punching that like you are just rooted to the ground. You can't move and the range is like tiny. So you've really got to like get in their face.
The thing is right, that when like I was so confused like when I was first playing, like when they would go into my face, I was like, how am I missing them? Because you can't hold your shotgun and shoot back. And I don't understand why you can't
get launched.
Do that.
Yeah, you just get launched.
It's the thing is right. It's before they even hit you. Like if I realize early and then move back one, it's so incredibly hard to hit them. And I don't know why is when they're doing the mechanic fisting that their hitbox changes or something like they're just too quick. I don't get it because I couldn't seem to hit them when they first did it, which I don't understand.
I'm watching people have a better chance. Like I'm watching people now with the Nitro meta getting better at pre-firing people, sprinting through their box, max speed, slamming things, because at least they are running in a straight line. And like you said, their hitbox doesn't change. They're sprinting, but like you can still kind of judge it. The Fist, you can't judge anything. They're just in and you're flying around the box like crazy.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'll give Nitro credit for. This is the best and most crisp my close range shotgun aim has been in years. Because it's all I have to flip and do every day. It's all I gotta do. That shit's crisp.
I mean, it was a good meta to be playing on higher ping. Like, I think you said you hated it though, VENO. Like, maybe you disagree with me, but I thought like this meta would be one of the best to play on like 120 ping and try to do well. Because at least you can actually get a refresh somewhat consistently now.
No.
No, okay. Disagree. That's fine. That's fine.
I just played the EU cash cup, right? Like, okay, like if you're in a W key game or just someone just accepts they're keying you, you can't get a single heal off. I had a Nuka-Cola. I was underneath Island. I had a Nuka-Cola. They hit me 30, by the way, only 30. Spread it into my box over. Is
that not just the regular meta though? Is that not just the same on zero ping?
That's the same on zero ping, right? But I can actually get out and keep making space.
True. Okay.
And even when they did it, I managed to get out twice. I just died on the third time.
Yeah.
Because
like I can't keep doing it over and over.
Side jump, box, double box, drop down. Like that's where you start to get.
And I'm only getting hit 30. I only got hit 30, but like they're still forcing it because they know they can keep getting in and nothing's gonna stop.
Yeah, okay, fair. See, because I'm kind of looking at it, but I mean, I also do think there's going to be a lot of people who forgot how bad playing on like 100+ ping was. Like, there's so many people I saw start the tournament today thinking like, we're going to do it. You guys did really well. You and Clicks did extremely well, but a lot of people I think have just forgotten how bad playing on high ping is. And even in this meta, it's somewhat manageable, but it's still like, I don't know. I think the region locking...
we would have quelled. Sorry, I think we would have quelled, but thing is right. We had Mythic Redline Rig and we were pushing Brutal. And the Brutal team was cheating, so I got quintuple dinks by Greya. So that was another W game. Would have been full stacks, and it would have been easily. But like, it's just every day you wake up more tired and tired.
It's such a long break, dude. People are remembering playing unreason lock tournaments when it was EU ends, half an hour break straight into NA East, and you had better ping. So, like, as soon as I saw the unregion lock and everyone was freaking out, I'm like, dude, as someone who tries to watch all these regions, I don't think people realize how long this break is. Like, I just finished my stream for that. I'm now going to do a 2-hour podcast and still have an hour and a half, and then I get to watch NA. And I'm not even playing and I'm exhausted. I can't even imagine if you're going to try and play those two regions separately. You're just going to be so tired.
I made the mistake of playing EU Opens today before this. And, like, I know not to play. Like, my vibe was just so off before we started, bro. Like, thankfully, like, you know, the lights are on, the stream's good, so like I'm back now. But like before, bro, yeah, man, it's a long day, bro. It's a long day. Thank you very much, Rin, for the take, though. Appreciate we kind of sidetracked, but yeah, that was good. We'll see if Fist come back.
Thank you for having me.
Very interesting.
Thanks,
all right, cheers, Rin.
I actually have a big comparison to what you just said. A long day. It actually feels like I've been on the tube for 3 hours.
No,
that's actually the way it feels.
Honestly, if you're a Londoner and you've had to be on the tube for that long, it's miserable. Especially on like a hot day.
Hot day? Like, walking from each place to place, that generally how it feels. I've been on the tube only a couple times, and it generally feels like I've played 9 hours of.
Yeah. Americans have no idea what you guys are talking about right now. From the fact that you calling it the tube, but also just public transport in general. They're like, the fuck? You guys go on trains? Like, you guys just don't drive everywhere? Like, Americans just don't do public transport, man.
Yeah, try driving in London. Good fucking luck. Do we have the next caller ready? Can we get the next caller in? Let's go. What is your name and where you calling from?
My name's Sorted. I'm calling from England.
Okay. Hey, welcome, Solid. What's your take, bro?
I think that duo cash cups should have a series point leaderboard that has a certain amount of people at the top qualifying to grands at the end of the season.
Oh, do you mean this on top of what we regularly do with FNCS, or you think that would replace FNCS schedule the way we currently have it?
I think you move like FNCS a little bit later, so grands is right at the end of the season. Then you have you have your duo cash cups earlier on, and then you have a series point leaderboard going on like in the beginning and during quals, and then the top, like let's say 5 or top 3 go to grands from there on top of the people that go to think to go to.
You want to have it function separately? Okay.
So it's like almost like the point of it being like we'd have like increase the stakes of duo cash cups and have like something that is longer term over the course of a season that gets people to grands.
Yeah, I think it'll make like the whole early season a lot more exciting.
Interesting.
Cool. I mean, it rewards consistency more too as well. It has like a way to kind of like have like consistency across lots of stuff. I feel like surely anyone who's that good though, who's done that well, like a top 3, top 5, they'd already make it to grands through the schedule though, right? Like this current FNCS format, for all its faults, if you look at the caliber of the grands we've had, at least like this semi format, VENO, again, you can kind of chime in as a player. Like you should qual, right? Like you really have to fuck up this semi format.
Well, we said it. Well, the guys said in the last tape, people aren't going to qual. The way this grands format is and has been for a while, you actually have to be terrible on top of terrible.
Yeah.
And like you got to fuck up like 3 separate heats and like and it's rough.
It's even if not like even if like to not make heats is crazy. And with the duo cash ups, I think it's a good idea to make duo cash ups more competitive because only about half the games are stacked. Yeah, only about half the games are stacked.
So bad.
It is.
And like the thing is though, I don't know about series point leaderboard. It would make it more exciting, sure. But I think the way you have to change it is because there's easier changes. Because you can change around the prize pool. People stop trying because they're in last place.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of like, okay, when you're playing FNCS finals, right? Like, you're not going to be necessarily conned by randoms, right? Because there's a lot more to qualify for FNCS. It takes a lot more. But in duo cash cups, you know, more hackers can qual, first of all, and they can't solve it as quick.
True.
Added on the thing that a lot more randoms qual. Also, in duo cash cups at the moment, it would also mean that I'm guessing they would have to change because there's no region lock at the moment. They'd have to change that. They'd have to revert the region lock.
True.
Yeah.
And then just so many randoms would qual. Like you could have someone who's not even going to play FNCS qual to do a cash cup because there's honestly nowhere near as difficult to FNCS finals, and they could qualify and like they're not going to be playing FNCS. And
I think you go, Evan.
It's like I don't mind where our heads are at in the sense of like, let's find a way to make duo cash cups more important. Let's find a way to make them more interesting to watch. The truth is, in terms of if you were someone who's like just a follower of competitive Fortnite, there's for years now, there's genuinely been like no real reason to watch cash cups. Like you can just check the leaderboards and like, you know, get like a temperature check from that, and then that's it, right? Like I wouldn't mind a world where duo cash cups, like we did something to make them more interesting. This, I think, is an overcook. I don't think we should do this.
I think having it go to a separate tournament, like I think the series point idea and build up something separate could be cool, and it would reward teams that stick together. It would reward teams that do grind out through the whole season. But I also think this is just the problem we have in anything with Fortnite if we stick to one thing too long. You have one type of format of tournament for too long, or you have one kind of thing for too long. The players get bored of it, the community gets bored of it, and because we think it's now worse, it makes it worse. If all of the pros just all told each other, we're going to take duo cash cup seriously, they're going to be good, they would be good. We've always had this problem with scrims too.
Yeah.
Scrims go to shit because someone thinks they're shit, so they play like it's shit, and then they become shit, so other people think it's shit, and they play
self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's a lot of shit. It just keeps going. Where cash cups have become that. Like cash cups, it's still like the prize money went up in cash cups this season. There's more of them with a better prize pool. And like, if all the pros were taking them seriously, then they would be good. I do understand, like I said, VENO, cheaters, that's a huge one. Obviously, if a cheater slips through, that's going to instantly make everyone think it's way worse than what it is. But like, it's also just us as a community, like, have just started saying the cash cups are shitty, which makes it shittier. And that's, you know what I mean? So there is a little bit of that where I think that's why Fortnite's always changing formats. And like, look, there's this new thing. It's way better now. So like, people are like, whoa, it's better. And then we all like, you know, think it's better.
No, that's genuinely right. Like, it's like, you know, back in the day, I remember I said, you know, when I was giving feedback about Arena back in the day, I was like, I don't care what you guys do with Arena, but you just have to change and rebrand because now the name Arena will forever be tainted,
dude.
Right? Like
the fact they messed it up with this rank thing pissed me off. Dude. That was their one chance. You redid it all. You had people thinking it might be good. You had one final chance to nail it, and you fucked it. Now everyone thinks it's shit, and no matter what you do, it's always going to be shit.
But I think
that one's a real sore spot for me.
I think now what you could maybe do with cash cups, I remember I had this idea with solos, right, where I said they should do like, I was stretching and saying it would be cool if there was like a LAN, but like I was like, you should do like an event where all the people with the most solo cash cup wins, you put them in a tournament at the end of the season, and it's like a big solo event, right? You could do the same with do a cash cup, right? It's like maybe you do have this leaderboard, this series points leaderboard, and like at the end of the season, you do like a big duo event for those teams who have done well over that. Maybe it can make it more interesting. I don't think qualifying people to FNCS is the right way to go about it, Salted, but I do think, you know, we definitely need to do some more things to make cash cups more interesting. So
I agree. This is kind of going away from the topic slightly, but it is on the topic of the conversation. I actually think, this is my hot take, I think there should be less tournaments.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
We
talked about this a bit last week.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit last week. It burns people out. It's too much of a good thing, and it makes it less exciting.
And also, it's the additional thing where now that we've actually took away region lock, you know, that's made it even worse.
So much,
yeah.
And like, oh wait, you're not playing EU Cash Cup, you're not grinding, you know, it's that added thing, you know? And also, it adds the fact that, like, there isn't really time to play scrims. Okay, so FNCS ended on Sunday. We had solo Cash Cup on Monday. Tuesday, there was nothing.
1 day off,
You have, thing is, right, even the 1 day off, right, you have to play scrims. Okay, so when are we going to host third-party cups? When are these third-party cups going to be hosted?
The Piz Cup was on. Yeah, they ran like Piz fit the 10K Cup on. Like, yeah, it is. It's too much. But like, and if you take it away and you put the prize pool on less, it makes it more exciting. The console cups, again, I know they're for console players and they're meant to just be like a cash grab. But that's the perfect example. Like when it was just the one CCC a season, people cared. People played and it was exciting. I cared. Now it's like the PlayStation Cup and then the console cash cup and then the console no build.
It's too much going on to
keep up. And it's just watered it all down. It's just watered it all down. The prize pool gets split across all of them. And people care enough to kind of feel like they should be playing it, like you just touched on, VENO, but not enough to actually really care about it. I definitely do agree. And I mean, it's also just being smarter with the schedule, though. They just cram it all in and then have these big breaks that, like, if you just spaced it out more, it wouldn't feel so overwhelming as well. That's the other thing.
And then you have Tuesday off, Wednesday play, Thursday play, Friday play, Saturday play, Sunday play, Monday play, and then repeat. Like, how should it be that, okay, before FNCS, for FNCS, you could only play, did we have one cash cup or two cash cups before FNCS started?
This season, it was like, I think we had
two.
one duo cash cup. Yeah, I think it was one 2-round, or was there two separate ones?
It was two, but there was one where like it was during it was when all the like EU players were over in NA for DreamHack, so like that EU cash cup
that's
was
right,
like
the first one.
Yeah,
a little bit mixy.
So we really, and this has happened a couple of seasons now, we can't have one tournament before we go into FNCS.
It
just can't happen like that.
Crazy.
It can't be like that, but we're just relying off scrims, and also, you know, the quality of scrims varies quite a bit, and it can't just be one tournament. Then you go into an FNCS where you are again playing for no money, by the way. So, you know, and people that are not kids anymore, you know, and have to rely on themselves, it doesn't really make sense if you're trying to make money on this game. You can't make money just off earnings.
Yeah,
and you know the topic is going all over the place now, but
it's still the same topic of like trying to make cash cups better, but it's just so hard because every time we have these discussions, it's always going to come back to Epic. If you ask the higher up at Epic what their opinion on this is, quit then. We don't care. Like you are lucky to play our game for money. You are lucky, like you know what I mean? It sucks, but I'm sure you know this, but that's how they see you. So we can talk about this all day, but their logic is we run all these tournaments. You don't want to play them, don't play them then. It's for everyone else.
I think,
you know what I mean? Like,
I think whereas like, you know, we've always said Fortnite's never gonna die. I think every person you ask that question to, they kind of say Fortnite's never gonna die. Well, look at their numbers, it's starting to go down and down and down. And like, will this OG season be good enough to bring it back up? Maybe, possibly. But are you not just rinsing the same thing over and over?
It is. It comes back to the argument of how they run this compared to like Counter-Strike and stuff, where you try and keep the top people happy to keep everyone still engaged.
And also, it's the thing of like, okay, well, the top people are always going to keep shit on the game, and they're the people, the platforms, they're going to keep shit on it over and over and over, and they are right to shit on it. It's horrible. And it's the thing of like, okay, you can put an item shop out and make $20 million, but you can't support the competitive system.
Yeah, there's a lot they could definitely be doing more to help comp, which wouldn't affect casuals at all and would definitely distribute their like funds around a bit better as well. But it's so hard for them when like the Solo Victory Cup, I think, is one of the biggest successes Epic's ever had for themselves. The amount they cut the Solo Cash Cup prize pool down and got the player base through the roof. Because it's just like, again, kids want to compete for that chance at $100. So that's like where their head now is at. How can we more effectively use the resources we have to get more players without making it higher? When yes, most of us could say like, why don't you just invest 0.5% more of the company wealth you've generated into comp and it would be booming like it is. It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's
how it all started. How it started was that they put a lot of money into the World Cup. how do you think the game blew up? It wasn't because the game was good. Like, the game was good, but that wasn't the reason why.
The game was pretty popular before that point, but I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, it boomed because of that. Like, the boom is that news was covering it, right? When was the last time Fortnite was mentioned in the news where it didn't say addiction next to it?
Like, yeah, true.
It hasn't been referenced in such a long time. Like, why isn't Copenhagen being referenced? Why isn't this and that being referenced? And if they are being referenced in a very, very small capacity, and it blew up because, you know, like 2018 Fortnite, of course, it blew up, right? But the real big boom, like the peak of the peak, was World Cup, and then it went back to shit.
Well, they had the mechs, man. That was the biggest. Like, I just want to see what the impact World Cup would have had on the player base and just general Fortnite trajectory if they didn't just take all that hype, build it up, like, you know, OG, and then just ram it into a fucking wall with mechs. Like, that was just the worst time. If they put mechs in Chapter 2, Season 4 or something, a little bit later, like, the player base still would have been so much healthier. They just, $100 million, built it all up, had the world watching, and then were just like, mechs. This is where I
didn't even play mechs. I didn't play during that time. Bro. I have no idea what the pain.
Wait, you didn't?
I didn't play during mechs.
Oh god! I mean, you can look at the clips and kind of figure it out well enough, but yeah, no.
I remember seeing like some Mongol clips and stuff like that. But that's where it started all. That's where it started all, because World Cup, when you think about it, it was a very balanced loop.
Oh, I don't know about that. That might be one of the spice. Have you seen it, bro? Like bottle rockets and shit? Like, bro, it was bad.
I'm trying to think, but like I can't really remember it too much. But like bottle rockets, I don't remember if they got used too much. But I like items where they're completely rotational.
Levin, come on, Levin, tell. I mean, it was just, so much shit was the problem. Like, you would see, like, VENO, it was normal to walk out of a POI with 150 shield, 1 mini, and a bandage from, like, a major POI, because there was just so much shit. You're walking past 17 different items, you don't want to carry any of them. That was, like, one of the biggest
That's
problems.
where we added fun to the game, where we can't say it's, like, the balance. Because it wasn't like, okay, there was one OP thing. There was tons of OP things, right? Yeah. And it also added to the thing where, okay, yeah, someone could have nothing, right? And
if we went back to World Cup meta tomorrow, bro, you have already quit. I'm sorry. There is no, like, you would quit in World Cup meta. It was so bad.
I played World Cup and enjoyed it. The thing is, I just like, when I think about it, right, like putting World Cup into now, also where people are smarter, right? I just like having items that are purely rotational. Like, Katana's one of my favorite items ever. The fist could have been so much better. Could have been so much better. When you make items that, right? You can't have both and both, right? You can't have both and both. And it just has to be a thing where they have to be purely rotational. Like heavy sniping into boxes, heavy sniping into boxes, right? Yeah, it was fun, and you know, you could, the best players, you know, are going to take advantage of that. And you know, because there were just so many things that were really good, it kind of split it out. Whereas the problem that we're seeing now is like, okay, wait, Rimcoin was in the game. It shouldn't have been in the game. So like, when you
loot diversity is boring now.
Yeah,
everyone carries the same thing now.
Yeah, everyone has after the first, I don't know, I'd say 10 script. After the first duo cash up, you've sorted your loadout
for the whole season, basically. Yeah,
pretty much.
True. Yeah. Man, we went way off topic from the Duo Cash Cup one. Jeez, I trust this one. I was like, looked back over and I was like, wait, what are we talking about again? Duo Cash Cups, that's right. I mean, Levin, closing thoughts?
Hey, thank you for the take, sorry, man. Now, thank you. Hey, there was a lot said, bro. I can't react to everything that happened. Brother went on like a 10-minute rant, bro. I can't even react to everything that I said, but fair enough, broski. Fair enough. Thank you, though, Salted. Thank you for the take, though, Salted. Let's make Duo Cash Cups better. I agree. Let's do something.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Not this.
Tournament's better in general.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure.
They're never gonna get better.
I mean, here's to hoping, man.
You gotta have hope, man. You can't give up hope. We'll see. New next season,
I think we've said the hope thing. It's been rinsed too much now.
For years, no.
We've got to give up on hope. We got to get the hope's gone.
Without hope, you have nothing, bro.
We're defeated, man.
There's nothing.
I've given up on the ranked.
Surely they won't add back fists. Surely, man.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that too much, but there's a few things I've given up on, but them trying new tournament stuff and like messing with the tournament structure, I haven't given up on. Like they try, like the Squad Victory Cup, they brought back a new thing. Like they're trying with tournaments. That's the one thing I think they're still putting effort into sitting down and thinking about it. Sometimes it blows my fucking mind who comes up with the scheduling. It can't be someone who watches this game or plays it whatsoever based on last season. And now this season is a little bit hectic. Like, there's a lot on. But I still have hope they'll mess it up. Like, we get some crazy shit next year where it's like 3 different types of game modes for FNCS and only one of them gets you to land as a secret. They could do that. They've done some crazy shit in the past, and they're still messing with the format. So I don't know. I still have hope in that regard, but I know what you mean. Sometimes we just got to give it up. Like Siphon coming back, ranked being good are 2 topics I've just fully given up on. No hope whatsoever.
I feel like we should keep pushing these things, you know? Like, I know it gets tiring. Like, from a human's perspective, like, of course it gets tiring if we're all just talking about the same things over and over again. But I feel like that's our only hope of seeing, you know, some sort of change come with them, because there is always hope that, like, as much as it might not feel like it, you know, we just saw this week. Sometimes something we might not think is coming back is gonna. It can just come back. Yeah, it's like
it's just so random.
I check and I'm like, region lock. It's a fucking random Monday. Nothing's happening, and it's between 2. Like, why did region lock just get removed? I was so happy, but so surprised.
That changed.
So I was just gonna say, I understand just from like my own knowledge of things, like why they are hesitant to communicate about things a lot of times, and you know, we sort of highlighted some of those reasons on the show today. My thing though is that I just wish we would get more communication around like things like this. It's like they clearly removed region lock because of reasons they had. They didn't just do it randomly or just like, no, like they clearly had a reason for doing it. But clearly they've assessed those reasons and realized, it's no point in doing that no more, so let's take it back. But I'd love if we got that communication of just as simple as, hey, we removed region lock because we thought this at the time. Now this isn't the case anymore, so we're bringing it back.
So good.
Maybe,
so good for that.
Maybe it's just a thing of that players' numbers and tournaments have gone down. Like, it could just be down to one simple reason, because to them it's just some clicks of a button to make everyone play. I don't know how complicated it is, of course, but like, it's obviously not a big job to make everyone play. And because of the region lock being so random, it made me have hope for Siphon. But now that I'm thinking about it, is purely just because player numbers.
I mean, it's also like but the other one is there is also the theory, which again I talked about in a video, but I haven't talked on the podcast. One of the main Q bugs this season that was very, very common was actually to do with region locking, and people would get stuck on trying to accept the region lock and then couldn't play the tournament. So there is actually a decent chance. Again, it'd be great if they came out and told us, like you said, Levin. So I'm not assuming this, because I'm assuming the worst. There's a good chance we just had region lock removed because they couldn't fix a bug involved with region locking. So instead of just fixing that, they're like, fuck it, we'll just get rid of the region lock because we want more people playing the game anyway. Good chance that was the reason why they did it after all this discussion and like years of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, could be a possibility. Let's get the new caller in. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Ooh. Yo, all right. So I'm Playboy Craze. I'm calling in from the US, and my take is that scopes don't belong on non-sniper guns, but attachments aren't bad, right? And let me like explain this before we actually like get into it, right?
Yeah, go for it, please.
Fortnite's identity, right, as a whole, like let's start with like Fortnite as an identity. It was a third-person shooter with building mechanics and guns, right? So it's a third-person shooter, but then you're adding in scopes that change the fighting playstyle into a lot more of a first-person playstyle. Like you can see that with like scopes on the shotguns. You see a lot more players scoping in to try and get that first-person advantage, right? And on top of that, I feel like you, Ozzy, and VENO can attest to this the most. You know, you guys being the most involved and competitive. No disrespect to you, Levin, but
and the most skillful,
it changed the entire way that competitive has been played, and it also changes the entire way that Storm Surge especially has been played, right? You go back to chapter 2, you see no scopes on the rifles, and you've seen how it's played. You have the Scented Edgy Commandments who are taking over hills near Lazy Lake or Misty Meadows, who are taking over those mountains and taking those long-range tags like you see everybody now doing. Or you have people who are like Bugamiro and Dukes, who were taking those aggressive fights for Surge and would come out and win it. So it kind of changed completely everything. And I think that Epic Games has purposefully kind of slowly ingrained scopes into the game as well. You've seen it with Chapter 3, Chapter 4. Almost all seasons had a scoped rifle, except for, I think it was Chrome season. That was the only one. That was Invitational season, right? That was the only one. And you've seen a lot more Storm Surge strategies being played out. And they slowly did that. I think they started out with just scopes on the rifles, and then they added attachments. And I think it's just completely ruined Fortnite. Like, not like in a whiny way, but like, you know, it's just kind of changed up so much of how the game is played out.
Well, since Levin's a filthy casual, I will jump on it and take this one here as well. So I think the best comparison is in recent history. Chapter 5 Season 1, we didn't have that, and people loved it. The Surge meta was everyone, with the grapples, people get around the map better, but it was fighting. It was a close-range Surge meta. That's why we saw, like, really good fighters do really, really well, and it was way more entertaining. Now we're back in this cringe-ass Surge-based DMR bullshit, trading with cacti and stuff. It's so much worse. So I fully agree with the take. I think if we can get Surge metas revolved around fighting and people getting their Surge at close range, it's way more entertaining, it's way more fun, but I don't know whether you could argue that's more skillful. I think the reason why long-range Surge metas are so boring is because the best teams just have a strategy, they know the strategy, they get in the position, they get their meds, they hit their shots, and then they go on to endgame stacked and win the game. That would be my take on it.
I mean,
VENO, again, you've played both these metas, you can,
Chapter
Sorry,
5, Season 1. Chapter 5, Season 1. Personally, for me, you know, we've been playing this game for a long time, right? Half of us are fucking blind by now. If I didn't have a scope on my gun, I wouldn't be able to hit anything. I can't see players unless I'm scoping in. And like I'm playing like now they adding region lock back, we're playing 10 hours a day. My eyes are fried. I can't see anything. I'm getting eye strain. I'm gonna have to start wearing blue light glasses to play.
And you get the clicks glasses.
Yeah,
like that is one of the reasons why for me why I wouldn't want it. But also, yeah, it is more skillful. Personally, I do have to say that I think they do have to belong because your Surge. Because okay, let me put it like this, right? There is no consistency if you're putting it down to fighting to get your Surge. There's no consistency.
Yeah.
There isn't, yeah. That's why it was fun, though. But I mean, that's also why I was kind of
of course, it's fun for a viewing experience. Oh wait, Marius is jumping in box.
Yeah.
I know.
Of course, it's fun
great.
for a viewing experience. But like, there's no consistency for us. Like, oh fuck, we did bad one game. I got 190 pumps randomly. You know,
yeah, true.
There's so much more like RNG when you add that in.
Yeah.
No, I got third party this time. Like,
I do think. Sorry, I think just on my take, I think it's also because the way they've done with aim now, aiming is less important. When we had hit scan weapons, like dude, if with the twin mag and the red eye, if you had good aim, you shit on kids. You fry them every time. No RNG with Bloom, nothing. You just rinse them. Where now that was probably terrible for casuals, right? Like casuals were probably just getting smoked in every single gunfight. Now you add like the different, you add the Bloom, you add the different the non-hit scan, the travel time, like you add the different scopes, and I feel like it has reduced the skill gap of aiming, not in a competitive sense. I think high-level comp to be able to hit consistent DMR shots is really hard, but I think for the rest of the game, aiming now is less important, and it lets people who are worse beat people who are better in aim duels. And I think that's the main reason why they changed it, and comps just kind of having to deal with it. I don't think they thought about making these changes with comp in mind. We're just dealing with it as always.
Thing is, right, whenever you thought about picking a duo, you never like picks it based on the first thing. And it's a thing of like, like for example, the way I play Surge, it doesn't matter how good my aim is. Because
well, this has been a very big wake up call for Clicks. Clicks had to change how he plays Surge completely.
Because I'm essentially like, okay, when you look back on like the last season I played with Season, you see how Cammy and Seti played. Everyone was funneled into one place, right? So it's essentially that's the same way the Surge I played, for example, but it's less so. So okay, I see a team on, let's say, the gas station that's next to my POI. I tag them, right? Okay, so they're going to be looking my direction. They're not stupid. They're going to know I'm going to possibly set up there. So potentially I can leave Clicks there, or he'll be on another hill, and I can just move around. My constant Surge thing is constantly moving. And in seasons where you can have a sprint thing, or Katana, where I can instantly move over and over, I'm more powerful.
You can get to different spots. You can make people more and better and more effectively.
Because in the last seasons, right, the previous seasons, they honestly reduced that so much. Because people will allow themselves to be rinsed now. But now that they're sprinting stuff, right, people will just go to leave straight away.
Yeah.
Like if you're engaging in a fight, right, and that team does not want to fight, they're going to run with sprints, so you have more chance to get AR shots. If they just box up, like, of course, can sprint through walls, but let's say they couldn't. Like, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
And you'd be forcing it at that point. And, like, it's actually when Clicks played last season with Epico, and I was watching him push out of Lavish to fight people, right? Because that was their Surge plan. They didn't take the MRs. It was like they kind of thought the teams would move. But, like, if you're sat on top of them, why would they move?
Yeah.
They're not going to give you... They're not going to give you free Surge. Yeah, and they're not going to take more damage.
Do you like 11 from casting perspective as well?
Well, no, I'm a stinky casual. I don't know nothing about it compared to Fortnite, apparently. So, that's my casual perspective. I don't know anything. I've not been casting top level Fortnite for 5 years. I've not been in the scene. And
I was like, Lemon's been real quiet. I was like, I think.
I don't watch more compared to Fortnite. Literally, the only person who could actually argue they watch more Fortnite than me is actually Aussie Antics, who streams 19 hours a day. That's why I don't watch it.
Well, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about Aussie and
exactly.
The most involved.
No, it's fine. He's G'ing you up, bro. He's G'ing you up. It's fine. Lemon, would you like it? Do you like him or not?
Look, the thing with scopes and how that like has affected the game in terms of Surge is sort of as VENO was explaining, where it's too easy for a team who genuinely like has the ability to cook a good Surge plan to just get absolutely lost in the world of randomness when again like people, you can't guarantee damage. It's the aspect of having the Storm Surge mechanic in the game, right? Because we have Storm Surge, you have to guarantee damage at certain points and certain times in the game. And so the best players have evolved strategies that put them in position to do so. So without scopes on your weapon and weapons that allow you to hit long range damage, you can't guarantee that damage. So now your strategy is null. So now the strategy, and we saw in Chapter 5, Season 1, strategy just became, okay, well, you just have to run at people and fight. And we've already established why that can be RNG for XYZ reasons. I think the problem a lot of the time is that like for most casuals, which I'm not one of, but for most casuals, you can't see and understand like that's boring. Like most people just don't get it. If you're watching Fortnite for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is this? And so it wouldn't surprise me if like Epic, wanted to create metas and move away from that, right? Because again, it's like it's hard for people to easily watch and understand that. I think you need to find the right balance. I'm not sure if we have that right now with DMRs. I feel like DMRs maybe are a bit too powerful and a bit too dominating with that. But it's tough. You just can't, if you're gonna remove long range fighting and weapons, and you want to keep the game as skillful as possible and still have the game have like depth and tactics, then you need to do something to Storm Surge to mitigate that. Because then otherwise, if every season was like Chapter 5, Season 1, even though it was underrated meta and it was fun and I liked it, like I thought it was cool to have like a switch up in pace, because it rewarded different types of players who usually aren't rewarded, like the Clixes and the Mariuses of the world.
Marius, yeah.
But if that was every season, like if that was just the norm for competitive Fortnite, I don't think we like lose much in terms of like, I don't think it'd be the kind of thing that is the difference between us saying, oh, we're not watching anymore. Oh, no, it's not interesting anymore. I think people will still be interested, but again, it would just be like, I would feel bad as someone who's really into like the details of competitive Fortnite. I'd feel bad because we're losing a layer. Like then then the only players like a player, no disrespect to these guys, but like then guys like Seti and Cammy lose a lot of their power because they're not, the best fighters in the world. And so they can't.
I think it's even faster though. I don't think we're going to say it's not skillful though. I think it's like, I think being able to take those fights and win those fights consistently is still skillful. Like I know VENO said the thing about like, oh, I didn't get one night and stuff, but like, VENO, like in 12 games out of 12, you're taking mid-game fights. There's no way you're just getting jump in 190. Like it's a skill,
It's not even just that.
But the thing is right now, when you have a meta like that, you can do
without Nitro.
But the thing is, you can do both. Like people like. You can have your surge strat right now, even with DMRs in the game. You can have your surge strat be you're just going to run and fight teams. Like you can still do that. So it's like
Shatini pulled out that random.
Right? Thing is, though, you know that
remove the other like side of things. Is my
thing is right. You know the thing about like thing is right. You know the problem with pushing teams, right? Is that you can't necessarily push teams anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So you
it's not even specifically that, it is that added bonus. But like, so Tini Mish's strat works, right? Because the teams around them are dog shit. Okay, so if you've got, if you're Peterbot, right, and you got Acorn next to you, Tayson next to you, Panada up ahead. You've got one more split, but it's between 10s. You have the split off to the left of Tayson, but it's between 10 splits, right? It's not worth to play like that, right? And also, it's the thing of like, it's not even just how good they are. It's that when you go to push these teams, right? if you do it once, they're not going to let you do it again.
Yeah,
and you'd have to you have to have a different strategy all 12 games. And it's like, okay, there's only so many limited things we can do, right? And also to add to that, we can't do it in qualifiers because otherwise, you know, they're gonna be ready for it.
No,
but that's but I don't think there's a problem with that because there's meta game to that. Like there's meta game for like a high level. There's meta game to like not revealing certain strats or not showing certain teams around you that you know are gonna be around you come grand finals. What it is you're gonna do, and the best players, and you know this from experience of doing it yourself. Like the best players will cook up something in game 10 that those players could have never expected, right? Even though if you've used something else beforehand, I think like the biggest thing is if you're gonna have that type of meta, then you need to have a mobility that allows people that allows people to do both well. Because like
the grapple.
Because if you can't get around, like if people are surge basing and you don't have mobility in the game, which is why last season was so like tough for people outside of the Grand Gate team, is if there are teams based up in certain positions, you're just stuck. Like, or you have to force your way through and use so many mats, so many shields that you're just losing so much, and it's partly, and it can almost not be in your control. But if you have the right type of mobility where the team can get through if they use that mobility well, but if they don't use it well, that team in the base can punish them. I think you have the best balance there. Because now that team can still go around and fight people if they want. But if they don't use the mobility right, the team in the base will get the tags on them that they need. Like, I just don't think we need to lose both, is my thing.
Like, to put it down to a sentence, right? Like, this is competitive. Like, how Surge is right now, it's competitive. And this is how things should be. But, and also the added thing is that, okay, Surge is about the only thing that is a skill gap anymore. Surge is the only skill gap, really, that's left anymore.
The biggest skill gap left.
The biggest one, yeah.
And when you put it fighting, right? Fighting, there's not as much a skill gap. Okay, yeah, Peterbot might shit on you, right? But you could surprise him.
True.
That's the thing, fighting's nowhere near the same skill gap. Like, I think fighting's very, very tiny, the skill gap, compared to Surge. And also...
And decision making that, like, leads to Surge, and then,
Why, like, I'm a better fighting Grands than I am in other gamers, right? Is because you can go from I go from passive aggressive very quickly. So like you can go from 0 to 100 in seconds, especially in this meta. Okay, we're assigned to key someone, you're in. It's like that. And like people just aren't ready when you're in Grands because people think, okay, everyone's gonna play their Surge out. They'll be probably more ready this season because what 0 to 100 thing is based entirely off Nitro.
Nitro's forced them, to have a head on a swivel. But you can see when people are nervous in Grands. You can just like push people. I will say two things though. Firstly, if we nerf long range aim and make people have to fight for their Surge more, games will be more dead. That will 100% kill out games more, and that usually upsets people. If there's not max Surge, there's not 80 alive, people think it's a shit game and like whatever. But secondly, the one thing is controller players. I think it's the one thing you got to talk about in all this as well. Long range aim assist sucks, and it has sucked for a very long time. That's why you said in laggier seasons, people do better on controller because, again, the people who normally would do better at long range Surge, which is mouse and keyboard, don't hit as many shots and there's blanks and stuff like that. So I do think that that's why you'll see during those, close range fighting seasons, controller players start to do well as well. And I do think that's still something Epic needs to focus on. I think if we get to the point where controller players truly give up on trying to compete and becoming pros, I think we lose a big chunk of the player base. A lot of them won't switch to mouse and keyboard, and that will be bad. Fortnite's one of very few esports still, I think one of the only ones where people still have hope on both inputs. Apex Legends now is one of the last ones, and it's a full controller spree over there now. I think where Fortnite's maintained it, where like mouse and keyboard's king, but you still have controller players like Teeny doing well. Reach just came second, Mirror won globals, and I think we need to keep that. Where if we go too far down the long range Surge at rate, that's just going to be gone. Controller players just give up.
I think controller. Okay, I'm going to say this now. If you're trying to play this game competitively and you still haven't switched to keyboard, you're finished. And controller only really works, right? Like, controller doesn't work in duos. Like, yeah, you can pull it off, right? But like, you see where Miro's won all his FNCSs, Days won his FNCSs, about that. It's because it works 100 times better in trios. Because you can fight more, you can cut off solos. There's so many more things you can do. In duos, right? If you're pushing a team, you're pushing 2 man. And it's as simple as that. Like, you can't do as much and make it more like fighting. Because in trios, you kind of have to fight for yourself. Surge is so high. If you don't have the weapons, also the loot required is more. So if you don't have loot, you kind of like within the first 4 minutes of the game, you kind of know, okay, we need to push them. you know?
Yeah, true. I mean, we've had some controller players do well, though. Regis did really well. Teenage did well. Okay, Mero won LAN again. LAN was a bit laggy. But we can still say the last two second place on the 2 biggest regions were just controller players.
Thing is, right? There's always going to be the outliers.
Yeah, okay.
And like
I think that's why those people are more impressive, because they're like the exception to the rule, you know?
They are the exceptions right now.
We haven't had a good controller player for probably a year and a half up to these last couple of seasons. Like,
there was a bit of a gap there. It was a bit of a lull,
I don't really know Reed's placements, but other than him, really, there's no one on EU. I think like barely anyone on NA, and like there was no controller players. Like, the only controller player to ever win an FNCS, on the actual region, is Day, Miro, and I think Solo All-Stars on NA East.
You got solos, You got Furious and Coop in solos as well, But that's solos, and those were kind of like drum gun jump in metas. Like, no offense to them. Like,
controller players never won an FNCS on EU.
Yeah, never. Yeah, second's still the highest. You've got, I think, what? So Leshy, Teeny now, and CRR.
And squads.
And sorry, not Leshy, Wolfie. Sorry, it's Wolfie, CRR, and Teeny are the 3 that have come second on EU. That's it. No one's won. And then Unknown in squads, Byler won with Peterbot as well. So NA's always had a few more controller players, but I mean, but I think that hope needs to be there. The outliers need to remain. I think there still needs to be a hope. Like, I think everyone with a brain knows the mouse and keyboard is better for competitive. Like, it's just, we're at that point. But there's still like that you can do it on control, and there's still enough controller players kicking around where you don't think like I need to give up on controller. I think if we go too far the long range route, that's what's going to happen though. But like you said, it's trios. If we switch up the game mode, if the game mode goes to solos or trios, I think controller players are back with a bang. So
I think it's going to be duos and solos forever. I think the game can't handle.
Yeah, trios with like the way the game's evolved, trios would be really hard. It would be really hard to make it work.
Thing is, right? Like, it's the skill level's just too high, right? There'd be a lot more, calm level of playing in trios. Like, you can understand more. Yes, I use that term.
Why did you do that?
I was actually thinking about incorporating that term with clicks. I was thinking when we say karma, he just relaxes.
Don't even bother.
It's a football term.
I'd say that like the big thing is like if they were gonna do trios, I feel like we'd have to see like a big change to just how a competitive Fortnite game looks. Yeah, like they'd have to like change not just the mode, but like a lot. Like Surge
would have to be trained.
Surge would have to be completely reworked.
Servers would have to be even remotely better goods, right?
It'd be a lot. Yeah.
Do you remember when it's actually not longer when we thought it was going to be trios? I think was it after Invitational? There was a lot of Elga Ganton going on.
Everyone was starting to gas up trios.
Was horrific.
Crazy,
so bad.
It's just impossible.
I was talking about this recently in terms of like when it comes to players who got hurt from trio switching to duos, right? Support players got hurt a lot, right? Guys like Anas who are like not crazy fraggers, not crazy IGLs, but they're just good teammates, good support players, got hurt a bunch, right? Because like on a duo, most people want a crazy IGL or crazy fragger. So like finding a space for that type of person. The second type of player that got hurt the most, I said, was controller players, right? Because it's like a lot of the time, back in the day in trios and in squads, everybody wanted like, or at least was fine with having the one controller player, because when it's time to get in an end game, they're gonna deliver, right? I remember that squad that came second with Benji, Nate, Mongrel, and Wolfies. Before they had Wolfies, they had Andretta, and Andretta got kicked, and he was told, "You got kicked. We just want to play with a controller player." And Wolfies is crazy, and when it comes time for it, Wolfie's gonna jump in box, and that's what he did during that grand finals, and they got second place, right? So I think it's unfortunate, I think, for controller players that we don't have like a bigger team mode, because I think more of them would thrive and shine and we'd see them have more success. But yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon, so probably won't be happening.
I can actually just throw a random thing in. I think they would have won that FNCS.
You think if they had, so do you think if they had Andretta instead of Wolfie, that's who they're playing with?
No.
If they picked up somebody else.
Yes, because Wolfie's, people have the wrong thing when they think about Wolfie's, right? Wolfie's an insanely good player, but actually what you're saying, the jump in boxing, Wolfie's was good because he had the best mechs of any controller player, almost better than keyboard. Aim thing, right? That's why you have CR. CR was the best aiming.
Yeah.
Wolfie's was the player. Wolfie's was the player that's going to box someone. Aiming was all down to CR.
You needed like a day, or you needed like an unknown army, just like get in and just hit max everything.
Yeah. No, I recently went back and watched like the squad win video from Benji, because I was just trying to reminisce, look back at the old days and
in your feels.
Yeah, man.
We all do that, bro.
All
go back and watch old videos sometimes and just be like, damn, man, what happened?
You've got to. The comms of that squad were just disastrous. I made a tweet about it because it was so bad.
Oh my god.
Everyone's like Mongrel would like be coming the most normal thing, like, and he's just screaming at full volume.
20, 20. And it's like, it just doesn't matter. There's like, they're on front side trying to get a refresh. He's shot a guy 500 meters away on the other side of zone for 20. And it's just like the most important thing in the world.
Oh my God, it was terrible. I don't know how Benji, kept saying in that squad. He was one of the shouters though, to be fair. But yeah, no, watching back in that squad, right? Like Wolfies was doing a lot of that though, where like, they would just sort of like let him cook. And, every once in a while, he'll get you something that keeps you in the game a bit longer. Thank you though for the take, Chris. Thank you for the take.
I'm very far from your take, Playboy, but thank you, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you for asserting that I know more than 11. I needed that.
My ego will never recover now. I will commit my life to making sure that can not run. But yeah, thank you for the take, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Let's jump into the next caller if we have them ready. I want to jump right back in. Let's get the flow going a bit here. Appreciate everyone hanging out, everybody watching. Of course, if you're watching live the show, we appreciate you. If you're watching after the fact, we also appreciate you as well. The podcast has been doing great. It's good to see everyone's been enjoying it and engaging it. I think we got the next caller though, so let's jump in. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name's Perky. I'm calling from the U.S.
Hey, what's up, Perky? What's your take?
I feel as though in this new state of Fortnite, it's very hard for new and upcoming players to go pro, being that there's a lot of cheaters and a lot of new and upcoming players get accused a lot. It's hard for them to prove themselves. Practice kind of sucks right now. There's nothing really to put yourself out there as a new player.
Okay. And so you think the accusations of like someone starts popping off all of a sudden and then people think they're cheating, so that like hurts their rep, like people don't want to play with them and that kind of messes them up?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in straight away and say I don't agree.
11.
This might seem like a bit of an unk take, but the reality is, when new players getting it rough, that's just how it's always been, man. That's it. It's happened with every new player that's come through. In every esport as well, it happens. When you come up, you get hit with the cheating accusations, especially when you've not been seen or done things on LAN. It's like, I can name so many players who have had that experience. And to be fair, it doesn't mean that that's good, because not everyone can handle that mentally, right? Like I know some players, I've had some players whose parents have reached out to me because they were struggling with it at the time, right? And so I don't wish anybody ever to get, like the abuse that sometimes comes with it, because definitely people take it too far. But in terms of like that aspect of you come up, you're doing so well that people think you're cheating, man, if anything, that's a flex sometimes, man. They can't believe you're so good. That's how it is. Like
Levin,
how we met.
Back to the stream.
How we met,
Levin.
People think you were cheating, VENO?
Yep, they thought I was cheating. I was streaming. Evan joined the call to talk to me about it. Because everyone said I had like one of the best aims, right? But I had the worst Kovac skills in the world, and it's still now like my Kovacs is awful. I can't do anything on it. But like, my take on it personally is that it's good. Why? Like, bullying's good.
No.
Bullying's good because the thing is, right? You think you're the best player in the fucking game. Okay, everyone thinks I'm cheating. I'm fucking crazy. It's going to add so much confidence, right? And also, it's the added thing is that, a lot of them are cheating. I just moved to NA. In almost every 2v2 I play, I get told, that kid's hacking. I was like, he's hacking? I 5-0'd him in the first one. Then he beat me 7-5. Oh, what a surprise.
The views shared by VENO are of VENO and VENO only. Hotline FN does not advocate for bullying in any form.
We know what VENO means, though. He means, obviously, again, like when people are hating on you in this specific context. I think, to go to your take specifically, I think the only way it can hurt you as a player is if, yes, it crumbles your mental, which, again, like VENO just said, it shouldn't. You should be like, oh my God, I am the shit. People think that I'm genuinely cheating. The one thing it can hurt with, though, is like friend groups or teammates. But I mean, let's be real. Most Fortnite pros will still play with someone, even if they're slightly suspicious they're cheating, as long as it's not so bad they think they're going to get banned. They're like, yo, let me get on this. Like, this guy's crazy.
I think Booker played with Aviv. Like, that's why Booker played with Aviv. Like,
I mean,
everyone thought he was cheating.
A lot of people with a lot of accusations will still get really good teammates. So I don't think it hurts them too much. It might hurt them, like, usually it grows their socials if they could put up with the hate, but maybe it hurts them getting an org, but even then, that's not really that important. So I know what you mean. It does suck to see people's flowers taken away from them. Every time someone pops off on Fortnite Tracker, I have to check, is it their first event? How many events is it? If they haven't played at least, like, even if it's like their 100th event and they do really well out of nowhere, my chat's like, yo, they've toggled or they've turned something on. And it gets tough. It's annoying, but you just tank through it and keep doing well and it stops. Like Chap, like I don't see Chap get almost any accusations for the most part now. And he just came second in his first ever grands. Like that is absurd. And he was getting so many accusations and now it's chilled out. And now like the same opinion that I have when people ask me, is Peterbot cheating? If you play multiple events, a whole bunch of events, and you don't get punished, at this point, I just have to assume you're not cheating because otherwise competitive's not worth watching.
Yeah,
if I just didn't respect or didn't watch all the people that my chat told me were cheating, and then later on turned around and said they're not cheating, like Malabuka, like Dubs, it's the tale as old as time. We've been here so many times. You just have to trust that if they're cheating, Epic will catch them, and then if they're not banned, then we have to respect them as players. That's just how I come back to it. It's not my job to witch hunt.
And on to continue on that, it's like, people don't understand how lucky we are in Fortnite when it comes to this problem of new players struggling to get up to the top. Fortnite is the most open esport of any esport. There is no game where it's more easy for a nobody to just become someone considered the best player in the world and, you know, whatever else that comes with that, right? Like, the only thing that I think limits this, and funny enough, this is something we were talking about last week, Aussie Receipts, is we need more like important solo events, right? Because then, you know, that helps in terms of building up your portfolio. But like the progression now, like for someone who is new to trying to become a pro, is you come up, you play, let's say you're an EU, right? You come up, you play the game, you grind the game, you probably play Noble Opens a bunch, you play your solo cash cups, get some earnings from that, get a couple hundred earnings or whatever you can over the course of a season. Bam, you then move on, you find people to play with and like looking for group servers, you make some friends, play FNCS, hope you can finesse a lower bracket, you know, placement. Get a lower bracket placement, now you open up your pool for more people who want to play with you because you've said you can say you've called for lower bracket. You work your way up. Like in other games, it's way more gatekept. In other games, it's like if you aren't fucking cool with like the manager of like a random org, it's like you're just fucked. You can't do nothing.
And you need to be able to fly to Korea and boot camp for 6 weeks on the drop of a hat. Like it's crazy.
It is so hard. Like in other games, Fortnite, it's very easy to come up in comparison. I do. What are you
go, 11. I was going to say, VENO, like, what would have your career looked like if there wasn't solos? Like, I'm trying to think, like, your solo FNCS was your big break, right? Like, I'm trying to think how much longer it would have taken you or harder do you think? Because, like, you kind of, like, went from, you had decent teammates, right? But then solo happened, and then all of a sudden, you were playing with, like, Payson and shit, if I don't remember your blow up properly. Like, I can't even imagine without a solo FNCS how that would have gone.
Thing is, right, I'm just thinking about it now. I don't know if it would have changed too much. Just because the only reason, right? Based on who I was playing with. Before solos, I played with Aqua. My first FNCS one was.
Wait, really? Was that before solos?
Yeah, we that's when my account got locks, and then I was qualified already for solos, and then my account got locked, so then I had to qualify again, and then I came second, and then I started playing with Payson Reason.
I think
like I was playing with Aqua and CR before the solo season. I was playing with Aqua and CR.
I think what you did good was like you were one of the people who like capitalized a lot on like the token meta, where it was like
I think that is the way to go
like
right
yeah, like you like obviously again we don't endorse tokens here because they're not allowed, and you guys who do tokens should not be doing them. You know, you shouldn't.
It's all for hugs.
Yeah, it's true. It's all for hugs. Yeah, that's true. But that's what like people were doing, right? It's like you grind those out, and like when you're one of the best of those players, eventually like one pro is gonna just need a season, and like they might choose to play with you because they know you're crazy at the game. So
like I can even give an example now just to a player who like shouldn't be playing with this person, but this person is down bad. Paper and Victor V. Like Victor V should not be playing with Paper. Even though Paper's not crazy, he has been someone who's in the comms such a long time and consistent. Like Paper just went from Paper and Muzz to Paper and Victor V.
Wait, you're saying Victor V's not good enough? I thought you were saying Victor V's
not
good.
Not that he's not good enough,
but it's like he doesn't have like the
reputation.
Rep. Yeah, like
he doesn't have the rep.
True.
Whereas like it's like how example the token kids can now come out of the I can't remember the exact word, but like I'll just say the tree line, no hiding in the forest, to come out and play with those types of players. Like we could see like in the next seasons, I think we could see that happen a lot more just with players who are in my head who are like kind of on a downturn.
What did I tell you?
I can see them playing with Reggers.
What did I tell you and Tayson after last episode? Yes, I said to you guys, all of you top EU players that keep like trying to do new combinations playing with each other for the past 2 fucking years, give it up and just play with the cracked 15-year-old. It's the, you know, bro, I'm telling you right now, like, again, we're like, it feels like we're very much in like a transition period in Fortnite where like there's new people coming up and some of the established names are just falling off. And it's like when we're in those periods, that's the time when you, as like a top experienced player, your stock is as high as it's ever going to be. Use that clout to just find the cracked kid, like find the chap of EU, right? And just play with that person.
Funny enough, be chap of NA. That's what chap did in NA. My man just started like investing in like the Dukes, like I think threats, like edgy a little bit, but like again, when Chap was kind of, you know, on the way out a bit of his own mechanical skill, but still had that knowledge and so much to pass on, he just was picking up absolutely insane players that no one's heard of and just molding them. Again, we're going to use molding here this time, Levin. Much molding, molding them into pros, because it works really well.
Yeah, it does work, and I think like thing is right. New players coming up are like coming to tier 1 are a dime a dozen. Like it's okay, we have Chap, right? But then
you could make them though. I think there'd be more if you guys picked them up though. I think there'd be more if you gave them a chance.
But we don't want them. We don't want more good players. We're gonna keep trying the combinations. Okay, all right. Well, I'll go and play with Sadie next season. Like, it's that type of thing, you know? Like, we're going to keep hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping and hopping.
No, but like, I get why
it's kept to fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fuck. Because you are essentially betting on the unknown. And, like, a lot of players don't want to waste a season on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, true.
And potentially more seasons after.
It's a big risk. It's like, it's why, again, it's like one of those things where you almost do it hastily. It's why a lot of the time when you do see someone do it, it's when like the fall off has already begun. Like it's rare that someone who's still like at their peak, the peak of their powers, is going to take that risk to invest in that type of player.
We saw it with Booga Pollo. We almost saw Booga Pollo. Everyone was like, Booga, you're an idiot. Why are you playing with Pollo? Who is this kid? Like, he's not that good. You are Booga and you're playing with Pollo. And now we've just seen Peterbot and Pollo like run a region. Like they ran NA, like dominated them. And everyone talked shit on Booga at the time. Like that Booga Pollo could have won that next season. You know what I mean? Like that could have been the big one. Scented Cold was a kind of a decent one as well. Scented Cold, I think Cold didn't have as much rep at the time. We've seen it a few times, but very rarely. But when we have seen it, kind of done well, or maybe that's just because we remember.
For sure, there's definitely examples of that happening where you just don't remember it because they don't do as good. But it's like, I feel like a lot of the time, it's worth taking a bet. And again, speaking to why I loved like trios and bigger squad modes a lot, is that it was easier to take that risk back when you had an extra teammate member, right? It's like when you have 3 people, okay, so you have the 2 established pros, you have your VENO and your Cammy. But now you just try in and bring in one of those like cracked 15-year-olds, right? Like it's easier.
That's
to
like
do
how
that.
It was with Augments,
Yeah, that's what you do.
Like you know, you have the 2 experience, That's
how you got the chance.
So it makes a lot of sense,
But yeah, Perky, I appreciate you.
I do
not agree.
Great take.
I do not agree, but nice one. I like that.
Hot take. I like it. That's a good one.
That was nice. Thank you very much for your take, man.
Thank you, Perky. I think we got a couple more. Do a couple more takes for the close it out. Two more.
Let's
two more calls.
2 more and let's wrap it up.
2 more.
I like it.
And then VENO gets to go play another Regions Cash Cup.
I might just go take a nap. All this debating's pretty tired.
Yeah, man.
We've gone through so many different we're meant to have one hot take, and I think we've talked about the entirety of Fortnite almost. I can't wait to see this question, because surely we fucking talked about it.
We've covered
everything. Let's see what it is. We got the next caller ready. What is your name and what is your take?
My name is Michael.
Hey, welcome,
Michael.
That Augments should be added back to Fortnite. They were such a big addition to the game, and they had so much potential with I don't remember any bugs surrounding them.
Yeah.
And they haven't been at all.
There was some bugs, but I actually really did like Augments. I thought Augments were a good thing. It does add RNG, but I actually really like them. It just can't be too OP. But, like, I really like them. Like, I liked during Katana season how you could be on height and then suddenly you have the mythic pistol. I thought it's fucking hilarious, but it's actually good. Actually, I like it.
I didn't like that one.
It's hard. I didn't mind them. I want them to be more. It's so hard to balance. It's going to take Epic to put a bunch of thought into them. But I would love ones that really change how you play, like the goofy ones that really if you have ones that meant you healed in a bush, so it actually made you rotate more around bushes, or water. Like you play water rotates because you got the water one. I liked ones like that weren't so broken, but they added an entirely different element that completely changed how you play it. I thought that was cool, and I'm down to have them back. But when it's like your pistol has 2 extra bullets, like fuck off. That's just, I don't care. Like towards the end, it's got annoying picking them. Like the last season they had them, I would literally get to the end of my game, my chat spamming, why pick your augments? Why? So I can get 2 extra damage on my pistol and a fucking AR. Like I don't care.
Pizza Party might have ruined all.
So,
Pizza Party was that was a bit rough.
So I have like 2 different angles that I'll look at. So the first one I'll look at is from like viewing experience, especially like as a broadcaster. I didn't like augments because we couldn't see them.
I mean, that's just really Epic's fault.
Yeah, it's like we just couldn't. Like if we could have seen augments, I probably would have liked them more as a caster. But like as a caster, you know, it was. Again, there was some
in the end.
There was somewhere you could, eventually we did have them, right? But there was somewhere it was like you just had to like assume and guess based off of like a hint about the way the player was playing. You know, it's like it's like if a player was in a bush, I always was just like they probably have that one.
Are they healing?
Yeah, it's like but from like a playing perspective, it's weird. I think augments can be hard because I think balancing them at the comp level, like. It's a perfect example of something where like we really need them to actually put thought into it from a comp perspective, right? Like if we're gonna have augments, like if we're gonna have augments, I'm fine with that. But let's really like give the comp team the reins to be like, okay, like is this gonna work with how comp is played? Because even the ones that did change a playstyle, which I think is like a cool dynamic to have, sometimes they were just a bit too like I didn't really like the bush one as much. I know players probably liked it.
I liked it because I could abuse it. But I think it was more busted than people thought.
Yeah, like I think it was broken.
When I played that season, I had a bush drop map for the entire map. So I would rotate from bush to bush to bush to bush. And like that's not how the game should be played, but you know, I'm gonna be happy to abuse something.
I like that. I thought was
it was fun. It was fun for me. Definitely not for other players, like who got abused by it. It's fun for me.
But they can adapt. Anyone has the same chance at them. I mean, other than if your drop had a bunch of gold, everyone had the same chance.
I like that. That's the skill gap.
It added some diversity of playstyles. That's always comes back to me right now. Is just anything that adds diversity of playstyle, and we're always gonna have the same conversation. It can be great if balanced well, but I think you hit the nail on the head perfectly, 11. That the comp team needs to balance them. It can't just be a bunch of augments they throw in for casuals and then the comp players have to just deal with it. Like we need comp specific augments, and I think that would be awesome. That's a great point.
Yeah, I feel like as well, if augments would have been better, if there was, for the most part, there was like actually like a selection headache. In most cases, you'd get like your options and it was clear and obvious which one you need to do from a comp perspective, right? Whereas like I would have liked them more if when you actually get your options, you actually really have to think, okay, if we want to play like this, we actually have to take this one rather than that one. Like sometimes it was just a bit too like, okay, well, we're obviously taking this one. And there's also some where I'm like, that just shouldn't be an augment. Like forecast augment, like there's some where it's like, it's too strong in my opinion. Like we just shouldn't be having that in the game.
That's fair.
So
I like it though.
Yeah. No,
good take, Mark.
Yeah, no, that's a nice, a quick take.
A quick one for us. A quick one for us. We could have taken that into how World Cup didn't have augments, and that's why Benji Fishy didn't perform as well as he's like.
I can add on
some rabbit holes today.
I can add on to medallions fucking suck. Medallion, like the end of it says, but only medallions exist. Medallions fucking suck.
Yeah, like, I'm not a big fan.
The thing of like 1 or 2 teams that we talked about a lot. 1 or 2 teams shouldn't have a much better chance to win because they've qualified to.
And they're just not that. They try to do something a little bit different with the infinite ammo, and it just failed miserably. It was so now you're just left with constant regenerating shield and constant nitro. It's not even fun or exciting or varied. It's just you just made them super OP, but it's not exciting.
That's like kind of what I actually said it to Kanata and Cooper. I said that bow will be removed, and
we all said it.
It's the thing where when you're the thing is this one add on. The thing of where like okay. when you're picking your drops of the season, you never pick the most OP spot.
Because there's going to be something that gets nerfed.
Yeah, it's going to get removed. If it's something,
if it's something like
not
that,
loot, not loot. If it's something like that, yeah, it's gone. Like it's going to get gone or nerfed to fuck. And like in this case, it's just gone.
Yeah, and the logic was Grim didn't get nerfed, so the bow won't get nerfed. And I kept telling Kai, I talked about this in person at DreamHack. I was like, bro, but the medallion made you OP, which let you take high ground and bully kids, whatever. But Epic don't understand comp at the level you do. They don't see it like that, but they are going to visually see a kid getting literally abused by a bow for 3 minutes straight, just fucking exploding, and they're going to be like, this isn't okay. Like, it's like, I don't know, 11. I think you're not being around from the beginning days. We can tell how Epic think. I know when Epic is going to change something because I know how their brain works. There's no way they were going to leave that bow in. I just knew it, and I knew they were going to leave Grim in though.
Yeah, no,
Cooper,
for sure.
Cooper
like,
thought it'd just be nerfed. I placed a bet with him.
Nah,
but even then, again, even then, like my argument to them would have been like, when was the last time we had explosives in the game? That's why I was so shocked when it was in, because we've just not even really had explosives in comp in so long. And I think a lot of that is in tech because we've had explosives in Fortnite, but they are never in comp for the most part of lately, right?
Yeah,
which is why bring it back to C4.
2 chapters,
Bring it back to C4.
Don't get
stacking
me
C4 and face them in the
grenade
boxes.
stacking people.
Man.
Have we had a single explosive that was good
much.
for the game? Have we had a single explosive that was good for competitive? We've now gone down that rabbit hole we said we weren't going to.
I think,
but like RPGs, grenades, C4s, we had a single good explosive.
I'm not entirely against RPGs in a limited ammo format because then they have to save him and use him for height. Then they have to save him and use him for height. But like RPGs, when you're blowing up surge bases, like if there's limited ammo, yeah, no one's gonna use it.
Okay.
Like you know how like snipers were, right? Where like they now added deagles so you can get more heavy ammo, but like how snipers were is that okay, if you once you pick up the sniper, that's your ammo for the game.
Oh my god, I've been saying this for so long. Like a harpoon, bro. Just it's like Apex, bro. Apex have a sniper. It's the Kraber. It has 5 shots in it, and you can only get it from the care package. Like maybe not 5, but like you know what I mean. And then not 5. It has a little bit more. It's like 15, and every shot matters. Like you have to weigh up every single shot and be like, is this worth it? You can't just snipe at everything that moves and hope.
Like when I played Grand Glacier season, I had about double the snipe second place had, like on the sniper hits.
You were spamming that shit.
Because I'm just spamming shots out because I have a bunk. I have a vault. Like I have cap ammo.
Yeah.
So there's no point in me not doing it.
You can just jump and do no scopes. Fuck it. It might hit. If it doesn't, who cares? I haven't lost anything. Like there's nothing to lose from it.
Yeah.
All right, let's cut that one before we go down the too far rabbit hole. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Augment, bro. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you. Take care, man.
We're doing one more then.
Yeah, this will be the last one we get in before we wrap up for the day.
Thank you, though. Good take. This is good. Man. You asked for some spicy takes. I've liked this. Some have come from you guys, but this was good. We didn't get any questions. We got all takes. So W, we're learning. Well done.
No, this is good. This is good. It's funny though. I was gonna mention something before we get this last call in with the whole like region unlocking and all that. Right? It's like I realized how screwed we are for guests for this show now. Because every time we run it, it's going to be, we're lucky VENO was like, I'm not going to play Brazil, right? You know?
Yeah.
But most players now will just be like, well, I'm playing I'm playing Asia, Brazil, EU. Sorry,
we're
guys.
We're getting content creators, bro. We're going to be getting the next few weeks might be some content creators, chat. We'll see. Oh, we got the break and stuff.
True, we have the break. So hopefully, shouldn't be too bad.
The tournament schedule is pretty damn packed for the rest of the season as well. Like, it's insane. Like, it's crazy. All right.
But yeah, let's get the last caller in.
Last call.
What is your name and where are you calling from, my friend?
My name is Sammy and I'm from Sweden.
Hey, welcome. What's your take, Sammy?
Sammy's out for blood.
Peterbot and Pollo are overrated this season. Without like how should I say it?
Controlling the lobby.
The only way they won last season was because everyone was afraid of them. Like they gave him too much space. Like
okay.
And the season before that, like it's kind of the same. And I really respect the season they won before. Like I don't know what season it was. Like the first FNCS. Because then it was earned. But now I just think people give him too much space.
I agree with the take somewhat because that's what everyone in the EU thought. But like, I just want to remove the overrated bit because they were scary because they are the best fighters, right? Okay, Peterbot's the best fighter, sorry, and they have the best guns. So like, the people are gonna be scared, and they have dashes, right? And it's the big thing of like, nah, they're not overrated, and they controlled the lobby out of fear. But I think now that more EU people have moved, what's this going to be harder? This is now the hardest region by far. right?
Cool.
And
I was writing your opinion on that. Yeah,
I don't know if
some people
are
still saying EU's harder.
Nah, not a chance. Like you didn't like we've got like Italians qualifying. Like at that point, like it's like really interesting. But yeah, no, I don't think they're overrated. It's just that it just can't control the lobby anymore. And I do agree with that part of the take. But I don't know if they're going to do poorly. I feel like it's impossible to do poorly. The shit's just repeated. Like, they've moved from Grim to Redline Rig. Yeah, it doesn't have the same amount of OP. That IR is damn broke.
Yeah.
And when they try and... I haven't personally played against them on height with that AR yet, but that AR on height is going to be abusive.
Yeah, so like, my where I stand on this is sort of like interesting, where... Remember last season when people were trying to do like the whole Giga Brain like takes of, yeah, they're not actually going to win FNCS, guys. I know they've won everything before, but they're not going to win everything. When everyone was doing that, like, when everyone was doing that, I kept having to remind people, guys, let's not forget that this was already like one of the best teams in the region. Like they just came second, very easy could have won. Like they already looked like two of the best players. Like it's not just because they have Grimcoin that they are like a team that's in contention to win FNCS. They would have been a team in contention to win anyway. And like VENO just highlighted, even if they don't have something like Grim that makes people fear them, they still have the shield coin and the AR. That is enough alone for me to be like somewhat confident in most cases to say that they can win FNCS. Now, what I will say is, which is interesting, and I want to know your thoughts on this, Ozzy, because I know you've probably had a bunch of questions about this. This season, it's not been a smooth sailing. Now, what I've seen from people say, I've seen a lot of people say, yeah, but they're just not trying, or yeah, but the meta is this and the meta is that. Like, are you almost like in any way sort of looking at them less now as like, okay, maybe they've taken their foot off the gas, maybe they're not that team anymore, like, or do you still, come grand finals, expect them to be Peterbot and Pollo? They've got mythic items, they're going to dominate.
I think people, okay, so I think, Sammy, I think you've kind of gone on the TikTok brain mode, and I mean that no offense, where people have gone the opposite too far. Like, I do think that they're like Peterbot, like, he is the second coming of Jesus in Fortnite. No one can fight him. If you verse him, you will lose. There were people, like, pushing around Peterbot and Pollo in quals and in grands a little bit where he'd push a fight. Barker Pars were really good at holding them off. They back off, whatever. But we can't disregard the fact that he won an FNCS before this, came second the season before as well, and then this season. Like, Peterbot is a good player, well-respected. Pollo was pretty underrated, but with Peterbot just being the way he was, everyone was going to respect that. He's made LAN. He's been a crazy player for a while now. I do think people went too far the opposite to try and pretend like he came out of nowhere, but I do think it falls somewhere a bit more in the middle. But yeah, to your question, Levin, I think we've never seen a perfect combination of two players who are both extremely good. The meta was good for them. They got some of the best that we've ever seen, and they were so motivated. They played every single scrim session from day one, every scrim session, every tournament, locked in, trying. When they got contested against Acorn and Cold, which could not have been better, Acorn and Cold contesting them as a tier 1 duo that had no preparation and their heart wasn't in it was perfect, because they shit on them like they should have shit on them, because Acorn and Cold deserved to get shit on. Not because they weren't good, they just half-assed that spawn fight, which meant that, of course, they were going to be unconned for the rest of the season. But I do think Peterbot and Pollo right now have let their foot off the gas. I think, again, people saying, oh, Peterbot with Agent, he's enjoying too much, he's going out and partying, like all that kind of shit. I don't really know where that's coming from. It's just, we often see this. I don't think that's it either. I don't think it's that either. I just think that they grinded so hard last season. I think it'd be near impossible to keep even half that motivation, A, without burning out, B, like VENO already touched on, there are so many tournaments this season, VENO's burning out, and the fact they're already in LAN, so they're just naturally playing for less. Like, yeah, they're playing for money, but you ask any pro right now what their motivation is right now, it's to get to LAN, to at least go to LAN, and the FNCS pickaxe. They've now got the win, and they got the LAN qual. There's no way their motivation is anywhere near as high.
I'm not gonna lie, like, okay, so I still think they'll win, right? Because, you know, like,
you think they'll win? I think they'll top 3, but I don't know if I think they'll win.
They're gonna win.
Okay, shit. All right, well, they're
gonna win, and it's not because, okay, yeah, they're crazy, right? And like, it's just the way this season's set up, because, you know, the loot they have, us,
they're guaranteed. No one's gonna con them. No one already wants to con Peterbot.
They're just gonna win. But I do agree with the foot spinning off the gas, and like every tournament I play right now, I have a fucking headache. And it's not because I'm being nitroed in on, it's just like there's so much tournament schedule. And also, like, I've gone through the thing of like winning. I've gone through the thing of winning, and like next season, like you just put your foot off the gas and just grinding so hard that you're burnt out. I've had that, and like I think it's a thing of now also like I don't think he's not pint. That boy don't go out. That boy don't go out. Like at most he's going. At most he's going to like bowling, right?
Bowling.
Like,
it's Top Golf. I'm pretty sure, bro. Top Golf is where it's at. From apparently according to the pros.
So.
We're all going.
But like he's not being let into any club or anything like that. Like that's not happening.
Yeah. I think.
Like I don't think I've never seen that guy even sip a beer. Like that's not happening. But, like also to add on to that, like winning twice is definitely a choice. You know, like. You have to put a lot into it. I also think look like EU's just shitting on them. Like not in terms of at the actual game, right? But they're getting spam banned from scrims because of EU.
Oh wait, okay.
Oh, they kept pushing Mongrel and Savage over and over and over, and they kept reporting them, so they just kept getting banned.
Yeah,
and like it's like
the politics.
It's like for example, we care less this season. Like we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah,
it's that thing. Like we care less this season. Oh wait, I got banned. Gives a fuck because half the time you can't play scrims. Once you get into F and CS, right? Like getting banned in scrims really isn't a big deal.
I think no one can. On the point of like winning twice as a choice, that is one thing, and this might get us into a bigger conversation, but I don't mind that. I think I wish it was more meaningful to win an FNCS, to where like. I feel like it's too common now where a team, like a good team, wins an FNCS and you almost feel like, I can take my foot off the gas. Like, who cares, like, for the next one? Especially once you confirm your global spot, right?
Yeah.
But, like, FNCS is the main thing we have every year. And yes, it all leads to globals, but I wish those teams didn't feel like they could take their foot off the gas. Like, I wish those teams felt like next one, I want to do this again. Like, but the fact that it can almost be so where
so
it's
it is
like,
a team game mode, but like you have to be also with your teammate. You both have to be on it.
Yeah.
Like also them being younger is an added thing. Like my age, we age as well. Like we could go out, we could do stuff, we could
the old heads.
Do a lot more things. Whereas like they have to sit inside. Polo stuck in fucking Mexico. I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do there. And like Peterbot's in the aging house. Like can't even sip on anything. Like there's nothing they can. They can still but chill, stuck playing Fortnite. Yeah, they can chill, but their chilling is playing Fortnite. When you say chill to a Fortnite player, it is we are playing Fortnite. I'm playing some 2v2. I'm playing some ESL. I'm just chilling. Like, that's what it is.
It's just not as locked in.
I mean, like to them, right? Sitting on the sofa and chilling is fucking weird.
Yeah, no, I know. I get that. It's the same. It's the responsibilities of Fortnite Pro. It's what Reese Hub talked about recently in his video, which just basically summed up, I think, most people's opinion who knows this game well of why are older pros not as good as younger pros, or why they're not like 28-year-old Fortnite pros. And again, it's responsibilities. It's what it requires to stay at the top of this game.
Yeah.
And the fact that to be the best at Fortnite on the two major regions, or I think almost any of the regions, or on a world level, you only really can put in that work ethic for like a season at a time, which is insane. We just gone to that point where like, I think because of how Fortnite isn't as traditional as a normal esport like Val and stuff, you can't stay at the top for as long without just an absurd work ethic that I don't think anyone can stick to for more than like a season. So I think Peterbot and Pollo are still so good, even if they don't play this season at all, because of having a land spot which locks them down one of the best drops. I think they're guaranteed. I've got them 100% guaranteed top 5. Top 3, I think is still extremely likely. Win, I'm not as positive as VENO though. Like that's to just say like they've won. I think
top 2 is a lock.
Okay.
100%. I'll move my take a little bit. I think top 2 is a lock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just.
Does that not mess up your head, like knowing, like again, like that you feel like you have to, like you're in the mindset right now that so far in this podcast we said that you have to play flawlessly to win, and you think that players that have just kind of only half grinding are almost a locked better chance than you. Does that not mess with your mental?
Ozzy, let me tell you something about this VENO guy. Yeah, let me teach you something about this guy. This guy does this victim gimmick every season, bro. It's so corny, bro. Every like VENO will be like the favorite to win, and like he'll DM me saying some shit like, anyone predicting us to win is an idiot. They don't know what they're talking about. It's like everybody has
but that
eyes,
season I said
bro.
that to you. The season I said that to you.
Every season he's always like he's always wait. I'm gonna let you finish. But every season it's always Oh my god, bro! Like that team's a lock. That team's got such a better spot than this team. Oh my god, like we're so
You got it from
shambles.
Queasy. I feel like that's a Queasy classic. I feel like that's
it actually might be. You know, it might be.
Once you know the inner workings of the game, right? You kind of know, like, unless that team like plays like very badly, they're the best strategy. They're the best drop spot. Like, you know, they're gonna win, right? Because when on paper they should win. So it's like. My name carries a lot of weight. Like I've been the. All right,
what? Wait, what? Don't keep talking, bro.
All right. Like thing is, right? Like I've been predicted to win every season. Like how can I like miss like and even in Copenhagen I missed Grands the previous season and they're predicting me like top 2 first. I don't like it shouldn't be like that. And it just because our names carry weight and they know what we can do. And like even this season,
I had you picked for like a locked top 3 last season. Like it was just you take VENO, you take Tasten, you give them half of fencing. This should be a top 3.
Boot put us first, but like there's so many more things that go into it. Like watching is only half the game, and it's the added thing. Like I can even see me and Clicks being put first to win this season, even with Peterbot.
You already are, bro. I'm sorry, man. With you won week 1, dude. Pressure's on whether you want it or not. Like you are like in most people's opinion right now. The team to win or like guaranteed top 3. Like people would be, I mean, you do what they won the set lobby and they played really, really well. It's just how it goes. And like, I mean, to be fair, like as someone who watches a lot as well, and I give decent takes, but also sometimes it's just fucking exhausting to go against heavy popular opinion. Like last season, I wanted to say there's no fucking chance Marius does well, but I got flamed for that. So I just changed my prediction on stream because I was just like, I just got fucking gaslit out of it. But I think the way you guys played the first week, we only have 2 weeks to properly golf. We don't we get to watch scrims a bit, and we get to watch cash ups a little bit, but the things you talk about, like behind the scenes and this and that, and this search strategy, like the coaches and stuff, no, you guys know it way better than everyone else. From the outside in, you won 3 out of 4 games to kick things off. People started W keying, goofing around and playing like a fuck around game, and that's when it kind of came a bit unstuck. But from what people saw, you were by far the most dominant team in one of the 2 major tournaments leading up to this. That's what people are going to look at. That's just how it's going to go normally.
I think
you can't really avoid that.
I think in terms of like narratives like that, one thing that needs to be pushed more to like the casual Fortnite competitive watcher that I think will help them understand sometimes like these discrepancies is once you understand that like Surge is the biggest skill gap, and you understand that Surge in lobbies like these aren't difficult, and you understand what makes it so that Surge in those lobbies isn't difficult, it becomes much easier to not overreact to results like this.
Yeah, very true. Grands lobbies are just completely... And everyone knows Grands lobbies are harder, but they always think of it, like the pressure or the players are so good at fighting. If you walk in and try to pump VENO, it's not going to work as well as Timmy. But it's the Surge. Like, that's it. It's the fact you're going to get milked, and if you face up wrong once, you're dead.
The only thing difference from finals, heats, and grands is just the Surge number is a bit higher. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Like, the Timmys will get into grands, like they always do. And, there's, they have to fill out those spots. But the thing is, that Surge number just increases a little bit. The game plans don't really change. Yeah, some people can surprise you with things they're going to do. But, like, unless, like, last season, for example, where the wings came back randomly, unless that type of thing was to happen again, like, you can pretty much, like, see the winners just from watching heats and qualifiers and cash cups.
I think it's also last season was, again, we talked about this so much in the last podcast. You weren't here for Venice, so I don't want to go into it too much. But last season's FNCS was the worst fucking indicator of skill coming into it. We were going off the fact that Pink and Vico won opens lobbies, essentially. Top 250 lobby. Like, it's kind of the same, but it's not really. And they did really well in that, so we want to say they do well in grands, and they didn't. So, like, I think this season's better to go off. I think people who keep saying, last season Clicks won a week of opens and then didn't do well in grands, so why do you think they're going to do well now? Well, because this format actually has
this format
lobbies.
Is way different, yeah.
It's so much better to go off.
I think it's the thing of, like, if you're more in the background, then, like, you kind of knew what Pink and Vico were going to get. Like, I don't remember what they got, but I thought they were going to do better than that. But
I did too, yeah.
But the thing is, like,
it shouldn't have been a contender to win if you knew.
Yeah, they weren't going to be a contender to win.
Yeah.
But, like, I think I said it, like, the start. I thought they could, right? But I didn't know how, like, the struggle was until, like, the days leading up, because their surge was just, they couldn't figure out surge. Their surge was pretty bad.
But that's what gets to what I was saying. But in quals, like, you don't have to use your surge strats because surge isn't that difficult in, like, quals compared to how it is in grands. It's like the actual execution is much more difficult in a Grands lobby than in the rounds before that.
It's just so boring. Like for us to follow it, like I'm gonna tell you from someone who understands comp and loves it and like lives and breathes it though, I don't like going into that extra level that is like where the coaches and like, you know what I mean? Like, because even like look at like again, I'm gonna go back to Reesub's videos. Resub makes fantastic VOD review videos and he'll kind of mention what they do for Surge a little bit, but you'll never just sit there and be like, and VENO went from this mountain to this mountain, and then he went up here and he went here because this team went here. It's so fucking boring to try to follow. So like going into Grands to like try to really get a good idea of how well everyone's doing, if you had to go back and watch all that shit, anyone's getting so bored. The only people watching that are coaches and pros. There is like no one outside of coaches and pros, I swear, who are like actually wanting to like see in depth how Rise's Surge strategy now looks in the new season exactly. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think there is. Maybe some of the hardcore content creating, like, you know,
we have a little
like
saying,
Harry and stuff.
We have a little saying. The start of every season, the first Duo Cash Cup, you watch Cammy and say.
Yeah.
That's a little saying.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
If you want to see how to play the season, you watch the first Duo Cash Cup, Cammy and say. Because that is them trying shit. And you just seeing
if it works. Yeah,
you kind of just see their brain mapping things out. Because then the next ones, they don't really, you know, they're not going to show off as much. The first one, you know, they're trying stuff out and seeing what's
and then they already start hiding it. Yeah, okay. See, that's so hard too. It's so hard to truly pick knowing who's coming into it with hiding strats. Because Rise said in my chat then as well, people also don't use their grand strats in qualifiers and cash cups.
Yeah, they don't.
It's so hard to know to what that extent is. I think people hear that and they think like Cammy Seti level of invitational, like hiding an entire strategy of how they're going to play their game. It's not as much that. It's just like kind of who they're going to push and who they're going to tag and where they're going to set up. And it's so hard to know that coming in. So we just have to go off history. So we just, without knowing that, you're like, well, VENO and Tayson are both good as fuck. It's a Grands lobby. They probably won't crumble. They're going to do really, really well. So it's just kind of like what you sometimes have to default going off.
Yeah, that's
kind of have to lean on legacy a little bit.
Yeah, that's why like I don't, and this isn't like a Fortnite exclusive problem. You have that problem in almost anything that has like lots of depth, you know? I think the only way that maybe you would then change it is that, like, again, one of the biggest skill gaps is Storm Surge. Storm Surge and how you approach it, like, influences a lot of these things that we're talking about. So maybe as like the competitive Fortnite people, you think, okay, maybe we need to rework the game so that like that isn't what it comes down to. And so for like a casual viewer, it is clearer to understand and see like who's good and for what reasons, right? That's why like a meta like Chapter 5 Season 1 would probably be easier for most people to digest, because then every season all you do is you look at who the best fighters are, like who's just the best fighter this season. Right. Yeah, and like it'd be like a lot easier to gauge like who's gonna be higher up on those leaderboards more often than not. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Shout out to Peterbot and Pollo though. Like it. Shout out to Peterbot and Pollo.
Yep. I think they'll do well. But Sammy, I respect you going the full TikTok, man. Fuck those guys, dog shit, carried by Grimgate. Let's see how we go this season. It'll be I mean, came out. We'll see.
It's late as well in Sweden, so appreciate you hanging
thank
out.
You, Sammy.
There. Thank you for the take.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Cool.
I on the topic of it being late, I had somebody who said, "Hey, Levin, the shows are too late for EU." I think we actually had a caller who had to drop out because it was too late for EU.
It got too late.
I understand you guys. You know, the timing's not amazing for EU. The problem is Aussie Antics is in Australia. I am in the UK. There are tournaments on all day long. Somebody else suggested
it's 9 a.m. for me right now.
You know,
people don't know. It's 9 a.m. for me now. We're ending at the time that's like, oh my god, it's so fucking late. It's 9 a.m. now.
So I understand, like, guys, the fact that this show happens in the first place is a miracle. This shouldn't even be possible that we actually do the show. The timing of it. Somebody also suggested we shouldn't do it on a tournament day. Every day is a tournament day now because of the schedule. There is literally
it might get a little bit better, but yeah, I sent Levin my schedule. This is also a lot because of me, guys, because it's just my schedule. And then when I have a half day off, it's like, yo, I'm a dad. I got to go do shit. But like literally, this is the schedule for the next days. We got Duo Cash Cup today, Duo Cash Cup tomorrow, FNCS, Solo Cup, Eval Cup, Duo Cash Cup, Console Cup. So yeah, like console cups are the only time where we'll try to maybe kind of prioritize this over them. But it's a fucking lot of tournaments. Like like VENO said, man, my man is burnt out. Like it's a lot of shit.
Yeah, we're trying to experiment in terms of the day. Like I'm not sure if we're locking in this time and day, but we want to try to figure out. Maybe
it looks like we get consistent Wednesdays off for a bit, so we'll see. During the break will be fun. Too.
Yeah, we'll figure something out though, guys, for your pleasure.
Hey, but shout out Levin's YouTube where it's going up as well in Spotify though. If you can't catch it live, you can still catch it afterwards. I mean, it still goes up in its entirety.
Yes, that is true. So if you want to watch the full thing, if you've missed part of it, you can still get the rest. It'll be up as soon as the live is done. VENO, man, thank you for joining us. It was great to see you do well in week 1. Hopefully you can get Clicks' best placement ever, man. That's
Dude,
what
I wish I could still lie to my chat and say that like it's gonna be so hard for me to be like, yo, this is Clicks' FNCS when like I got you being like, you know what? I'm gonna trust Levin here. It's you just fucking gaslighting me. VENO thinks he's gonna win FNCS. This is Clicks' season. I'm just gonna like leave with that in my head.
I try and stay humble. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and say too much. No, the thing is, right, you need to keep a lot to yourself.
True.
Okay, fair.
True.
I like that.
I don't know. We'll see. I kind of know in the days before, so I'll shoot a DM to you both.
Yeah.
I'm
looking forward to it.
On the list.
But yeah, appreciate you guys all for listening. We are going to be wrapping up very shortly. Ozzy, I appreciate you as always for doing this to me. VENO, thank you for joining. We'll see you guys all on the hotline. Appreciate you. Peace.